What's going on, y'all? This is just Ashley Keaton, the JAK podcast. We're going to be very transparent today, and I'm not talking about if your dad had a sex change. We're talking about trans visibility. We're talking about homosexuality in the church. We're talking about a lot of different things. We got a lot of polls, and well, I say polls, POLLS, just to clarify, because we don't do that around here. We saved. Let's get into this. What's up, y'all? This is just Ashley Keaton. We'd help you get blessed, confess, finesse, and enjoy the process. In the name of Jesus, can I get an amen, y'all?
Yeah,
Amen.
Amen, amen.
Amen.
We got some heavy hitters in the building. Obviously, we got Logged Off Podcast in the
That's
building.
right. What's going on, y'all? I just hit the mic, so that's great.
Yes, sir. That's all right. Just don't do it again. No, just
Yes,
playing. But we got oh yeah, y'all go ahead, like the video. It's the best way to help us out with the algorithm, and you got those buttons there. It's the best way to to get the video out to more people, and also subscribe if you're feeling it. This conversation is going to be very interesting. Done a lot of research on this topic, and I'm sure everyone else has too. Got my cousins in the building.
What's going on?
Brother sister combination. We finna let them know we about to come with the facts, man. Come with the Holy Ghost as well. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so how y'all doing today, man?
Good. Tired.
You
I'm
tired?
doing great.
Yeah.
I'm doing great. I'm not feeling too tired, but I'm just excited to be here.
Yeah.
You always got that dad tiredness. You know.
Yeah.
You always got that, but you know, you got adapted to that, so you good.
I'm trying to.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
feeling good, man. I'm ready for the conversation.
Yeah.
So first, you know, I just want y'all to tell the people, like, just name kind of what you do and like what your thoughts are, or I will say how you identify, but I feel like we all like identify as
Child of God.
cisgendered. I'm just saying.
Oh,
But
I'm gonna go
I
first.
guess
Sure.
where your experiences. I think, what did I just say?
So you want us to
said
introduce ourselves
Introduce yourselves. Yes.
and tell our relationship with the community of
Yeah.
Okay,
Community
I
of
got you.
what?
I got you. So
Sorry, I'm over here tripping
So
today.
I'm Terrell, and have a YouTube called Growing Richer. And right now on my channel we're building good habits, and so we've got a 30-day challenge where, we're drinking water, working out, reading, just doing the right things. And as far as the conversation is concerned, of course, I identify, I'm married, got a wife, a kid, and my relationship with like the trans and LGBT community is like, um, so I went to Georgia State here in Atlanta, and that's when I was really exposed to like the different aspects of the community and almost normalized in my mind. I got family that, identify as members of the LGBTQ and so forth. So I've got like people that I love in the community. And so just trying to get a deeper understanding.
And if you got people, I got people because we're related. All right.
I am Kriyansha Tucker. I am currently a server right now, but I'm in school for mortuary science. So yeah, I'll be dealing with some dead people when I'm done. I am currently a heterosexual woman. Not married yet. I am a, how do you say it? Ex-affiliate of the LGBT community, I guess you say, the alphabet crew. Had to get jumped out. They didn't want to let me go so easy.
They jumped
No.
you out.
No. It was an issue though. It was an issue, but it's all good. But yeah, like he said, we have family members that is a part of the LGBT community. QI. What is it?
Just a lot of letters.
Yeah.
QIA.
Yeah.
Alphabet
plus.
gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when I was out there, I didn't even use those extra letters. So yeah.
So
But yeah.
does everybody like in our family they notice, or this is kind of like boom announcement?
I think it was pretty well known. I don't think it was this is no shock. Well, it might be a shock to some people, but
Yeah,
But most people
most people that
yeah.
was around me, they knew, yeah. And it wasn't like
Okay.
I was hiding it. I was posting whoever I was with on social media, so
Mm.
it was up to you to figure it out. or
interesting.
yeah.
yeah. So yeah.
It's definitely something that's interesting, and kind of want to probably dig into more of that probably a little later. But that's very interesting because I was on the podcast and they said, God can't deliver somebody from that. Because it's like, so that's, yeah, we'll probably get in more into that now.
Yeah.
Now, Johnny, how long have you been a part of the community?
Oh boy, bro, don't get me
I'm
started.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Just keep your wrist straight. Not just playing. No. But yeah, you can go ahead and let the people know.
I introduced
man.
myself. Oh, my name is Johnny Maynard. I am very straight. That's my slang. No, I'm just playing.
Very straight.
Whether people thought of that in high school, that's questionable. But
Well,
I am currently dating someone, heading towards marriage. So I'm happy with a woman. To clarify that.
amen. And she don't just identify.
She is.
She's a
Biologically.
cisgender. No, that cisgender is always like an insult to
Right.
to a lot of heterosexual people. It's like, no.
Because we didn't understand it at first.
Yeah.
It's like cisgender. Hold up now.
Yeah, like what you mean? I ain't no cis nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And then
I
it's
ain't
just like,
still,
oh,
I ain't
okay,
never
I
been
got you.
sissified.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly how it's taken.
Yeah. So how y'all feel about when they say that though? Like when they say cisgender.
It's
Don't bother me.
normalized.
Yeah, it's
now,
normalized. Like I don't.
Which is, like a lot of this stuff I don't even really think about it anymore. It doesn't even like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
it's so deep in the culture now that
Mhm.
it's kind of whenever a new thing comes out, a new category or a new piece of the spectrum.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah. True.
it's always something new. What you think, Johnny?
Me? I've never been someone to really be triggered by words. You could literally call me the worst thing in the world, and I'm just gonna laugh at you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I roll.
I definitely agree, and I definitely feel the same way. The only issue I have with it is that, I mean, it's not like the word is the big issue, because
Yeah.
all of the terminology they use, just the fact that they change words is just causing a problem. Like it's allowing people to actually. It's so many people that you can't even have a conversation with because of the way they use words. Like if you had to ask somebody what is a woman, and then they say, well, I don't know, that's it's personal, or it's the way that a woman identifies, and the circular. It's like, gosh, man, like you understand, like we're gonna have to. I have to be like I have to dumb down so much just to have a regular conversation with somebody who doesn't know what a woman is. And it's just, see, like I agree with, everybody really, because it's just a word. But it's like, yo, you saying, when you start putting cis, and like, I'm not going to be one to be like, hey, don't call me that. I'm just going to, like you said, like, okay, whatever. I'm going to ignore it. But I would never use the terms. Like, yeah, I'm a cisgender man. Like, I would never say that. It's like, no, y'all making up stuff. The way that y'all using these words, y'all trying to make a whole agenda, trying to say that I'm already a biological male.
Mm-hmm.
So how far are you gonna go to identify me now? It's like we separated by race, we separated by so many other things, and now you want to add cis and all these identifications, and it's just like, I just think, bro, like,
It's
can,
so
can you just
complex
call me a
now.
man, bro?
It's so complex now.
It's just getting crazy.
But I think the reason why that is difficult, like why the community doesn't want to say just you're a man, is because of the pushing of like the normalization of not necessarily what you were born with having any factor into what your actual like identity can be.
That's what they want to
So
place
that's
me
why
in a
it's so
category.
important for that
To
categorization.
say
That's
cisgender.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
That's
want to. If they can place me in a category, they're able to further. Oh, well, now we don't have to even think about biology. We don't have to talk about biology. We can just talk about cisgender. Da 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 da. It's so funny too because if you think about it, like you say, I'm a cisgender male. Biologically, you're adding the word cis because it's a biological male.
Right.
So you're still putting some thought to biology,
right.
but you're just trying to use a word to like make me take an extra step.
Yeah.
That's what's so crazy. It's
Yeah.
like it's still there. You're just trying to
Mhm.
make me take an extra step. But let's just use this word because biological male is offensive. Because now you're saying
That
that we're all identified by biology.
yeah,
It's
and
just the craziest thing.
yeah, it takes the normal. It makes it so if you say cisgender, it's normal to not be
Normal.
that.
Mhm.
So
Right.
Yeah.
I also feel like it's a way to kind of incentivize it as a choice, as opposed to like, oh, I'm gonna identify as the cis, instead of just saying like, oh, I am what I was born in.
Mm-hmm. And what's so crazy about that? You got people in this community that will say it's not a choice. I was born this way,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll argue like, no, no, no. I can choose to be whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you can be whatever you want, why would you say that you already are this?
Right.
Like when I say, bro, is this woman a man? It's like, you can be whatever you want. Okay, so are they choosing to be this? Or are they born this way? Oh, no, no, they were born that way. So if they're born that way, then how could you say it's a choice? So it's a whole contradiction right there.
Yeah.
I think it's hard. I try to understand like their perspective because it's like how I don't know if it's necessarily a choice.
Oh,
Like the
yeah. I mean, I feel you there.
like the thought process of like the attraction piece,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
like what you're attracted to, what you feel like. Not necessarily meaning like they're the proper things, but I can imagine a scenario where everything in your being is tempted by a certain thing.
Mm. Yeah.
And so therefore you say, I don't have a choice. Because it's like you don't want to resist that. What do you think?
Yeah. I was sitting here thinking because I was, like you said, well, I was a part of the community. And while I was out there, if you talk to a lot of them, I don't know what all I can, I'm not going to say too much because I'm PG, try to be. But a lot of them were touched
Yeah.
at a young age. And with them being touched at that age, sometimes it makes them be confused. And so if they don't have God to help like guide them and really like, or even if they just don't never talk about it, that's something that they still battle with. You know what I'm saying? Personally, that happened with me. So with men and women. So of course I was dealing with that growing up in myself, like, well, do I like women? You know what I'm saying? And then I got out there. My last relationship with a man was like 2019, I believe. And when we broke up, I believe I said, you know what? I'm just gonna come out to my family in November of, I think it was like around Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken. And when I came out to them, it was almost like, okay, whatever. Because like I said, we have family members that's already a part of the community. So it was like, whatever, whatever. So I wanted to say I was out there about what, 2-3 years almost. I was like fully like living in that lifestyle or whatever. And once I was out there and I experienced those things, and I was like, you know what? I mean, women cool, but I don't think, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would had an attraction to women, like, yeah, but I was like, at one point in my life, I literally was like, if could I really live my life with a woman? Like, could I really marry a woman? And that's when I began to like seek God more and pray. Even when I was out there, I used to pray like, God, if you ever get me out of this, you know what I'm saying? I'll never, you know what I'm saying? I just want to be delivered from, if you ever get me out, you know? But a lot of people don't have that. They didn't grow up with that. They didn't grow up in the church. They didn't grow up with an outlet to be able to say, well, this happened to me, or they didn't have grow up with an outlet to be like, well, let me or even if you have a relationship with God, like, to even turn to God. So a lot of them are just stuck in that, you know what I'm saying, just stuck right there. So I get what y'all saying, like people that's how they have they shell, or that's how they feel like that's what they are, so to speak. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, it's definitely deeper than
Yeah,
that's why I know people probably feel like, oh, it's simple. It's just
yeah,
it just and it's like, no, I think it's deeper than, someone outside of the community may realize.
yeah,
And that's why I think it's so important to at least like have the conversation. But like you said, sometimes, and we're gonna get into this, like the church it needs to be set up to where people have an outlet to express and have counseling and have an understanding.
right,
And I just noticed that, like, just myself looking in churches and stuff like that. I'm like, man, people need to, and there's some churches I feel maybe they do have the right format, but we need these churches to get on the right format. So because it's not, I just do not believe it's as simple as just I'm gonna preach the truth and the truth is gonna do everything else. And it's like, I just don't think it's that simple. Cause like, why would God waste ink by even writing the book of Proverbs?
right.
It's like, why would he even waste ink writing I forget if it's Romans. I don't know where it says being weak to them that are weak. Like having an understanding for different people that are going through different issues. No one knows that labor among you. Like knowing how to understand people that help them come out of those situations. Some people, like you said, Lord, please get me out of this. Now, how hard is it to get out of something like that when somebody's like, you live in this sin, you're going to hell. And it's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, because I believe if everybody know my granddad, well, not everybody, but most people know our granddad is a bishop, and so I believe if he had been like, you going it, you know what I'm saying, he never treated me any differently. He still showed me the same love that he showed me beforehand.
mm-hmm,
And I believe if he had the, and I guess I don't know. Now he do preach against, homosexual. He
yeah.
does preach against. He does like do that. But I believe if he had of came at me in the way that you're saying, it probably would have had me like, well, should you act like that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but like he never changed, and a lot of the other saints in the church didn't change either. But it's just what he still showed me that same love, and so I was just like, you know what, that's so. But like, if you come back, you going to hell, ain't nobody
Yeah.
gonna hear you.
That's what I always think
Nobody's gonna
about
hear you.
Dave Chappelle when he said, when keeping it real goes wrong.
Yeah,
It's like we got this mindset like I'm about to be real.
yeah,
And it's like I love the passion, I love the boldness, but we got to be solution oriented.
yeah.
And that ain't it. Like sometimes, yeah, we got to be honest, but it's like, are we mad at gay people or are we saying this cuz we care, we want to help? You see what I'm saying?
And we want it to be because we care and we
Yeah.
love them.
Yeah.
We really care deeply for like where the soul ends up.
Amen.
Yeah.
You know.
At the end of the day, this ain't our home.
Yeah.
So,
And we all have stuff that we wrestle with.
yeah.
And I think that may be one of the flaws is like that is such a topic that the church loves to focus on,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and
It's a lot.
when we should all be like trying to struggle through things
Mhm.
together almost. So like if we have LGBTQ or
I was like, what in the world? Don't be
But
adding
I-
no extra letter.
I felt like like I was speaking Spanish, it started flowing.
The tongue
I
started
was
coming
like-
out.
Right.
I was
But-
with you,
but-
but I didn't know where you were
But
going.
it's just like we should be wrestling with our flesh
Yeah.
as a community.
Yeah.
Because I was reading and it was like a lot of times like your situation was like you couldn't see yourself with a woman, but there are men who can't see themselves with a woman and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And so their life under the Christian law, the Christian doctrine would have them live their life without a companion.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, man, it's not good for man to be alone.
Yeah.
And so that's where, like, as a church, we could be very valuable to them as, like, people to walk with.
Yeah. It was an episode of Middle Ground. This guy said, I'm delivered, but I still struggle, so I have settled to having a life of singleness. And I was like, yo, that man still had that kind of those feelings on him, and he was telling them people it was wrong. I was like, yo, that's some, you know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, what would I do if you gotta think about it, like us men, like, yes, we're not gay, but if we had that on us, would we really? We saying we straight so we can deal with it.
I just think about it like this.
You know,
if I didn't have the outlet of being able to get married, I have some problems.
Yeah.
I mean,
you wouldn't go to the side, but
no, I'm saying I'd be like, God, you could have gave. You know what I'm saying? That's a tough battle to face. A lifetime of like celibacy or abstinence is a real.
Like God tell you got the gift of singleness.
That's a cross. Like when he say
like,
take
Lord,
up your
what?
cross, that is a cross to bear.
Like Tucker, Terrell, I'm about to bless you with the gift of singleness. You can be like, no.
That ain't what I asked for.
I got a. You must have my brother. My brother. You got a brother, right?
I got 3 brothers.
Okay, if you didn't have a brother, it would be, dang, it's me.
Yeah.
So I want to react to this video. You can wait till we get our headphones on. Let me see.
Well, I'll actually touch on
you
how you mentioned that we all struggle with something, and it's like that's how we can empathize with other people. Like they're like, oh, like how could you even struggle this, bro? It's just like women or like men, you know? And it's like, well, do you not struggle with a sin? Like,
right.
If you struggle with a sin and you know that, like, Lord, I don't want to be doing this, but I still am. Paul even writes in his letters, like, I do the things that I don't want to do, and I don't do the things that I do want to do. And it's like we always have the struggle, and that's what kind of help us like stay connected to really be empathetic towards not just the LGBTQ community, but anyone who's struggling with sin, and we correct them through gentleness, because that's what the word says.
That would be awesome, but everybody act like they don't got problems.
Right. You could turn it down about halfway, because I don't want to blast it in our ears. Just not that one. The
No.
Oh yeah, you could turn that one all the way down, but that one halfway. That one that you were just on.
This one?
That one all the way down.
All the way down.
And the other one halfway.
This one?
Yeah. Halfway.
That's all the way down.
I said halfway.
This way?
Yeah.
My bad.
I'm saying halfway. And you're saying it's all the way down. I said, okay.
I didn't know where
you're
it
not
was.
listening. I was like, okay, so I want to open it up real quick. So, as we know, Joe Biden, he has recognized transgender awareness, and we found out like this has actually been going on since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And just so happened that this falls on Easter Sunday / Resurrection Sunday. So it's very interesting. So I just wanted to kind of react to these clips from The View. And we have 3 clips, but we'll just play one, and just react and just kind of keep it going. So let's start with the first clip.
Apparently, March 31st, I don't know whether y'all are aware of this, has been designated as a Transgender Day of Visibility since 2009. This year, it happened to coincide with Easter Sunday. So cue the pearl clutching from the conservative media.
This is a clear effort and a coordinated effort to remove God from our society and to replace God with false gods. And in this instance, it's the trans community. They clearly want us to bow at the altar of the trans community instead of bow to God.
If you have a whole calendar, 365 days of the year, and the transgender community purposely chooses the day of Jesus' death or his resurrection, whatever Easter weekend, that seems like a shot, a purposeful shot.
If you're going to commemorate godlessness, at least have some respect for Christians and wait to do so another day. The left already celebrates godlessness 24/7 anyway, so an internationally designated day, week, or month is frankly redundant.
The fact that you're saying this to the most Catholic president we've had in years
Since Kennedy.
is extraordinary.
All right, it's very interesting. What are y'all's thoughts?
Um,
Oh, I'm gonna let you take that.
the fact that they said this has been the same day since 2009. The only day that changed is Easter, because Easter is usually in April, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
So therefore, I mean, I ain't saying, I agree with it, but at the same day, I mean, he just acknowledged that day. First of all, election coming up. So, I mean, I ain't big on politics like that, but election coming up. So, he just trying to make sure he get his votes. At the end of the day, he not going to not recognize it just because it's on, I mean, it ain't going to be on that day the next year, watch. Because this is leap year, if we pay attention. But it just was funny to me.
Yeah.
I was laughing.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they was trying to pick a Christian day.
But I don't think that was...
That ain't what it felt like to me.
No, they literally said since 2009. What is this? 2024. It's the same day.
We gotta stop that outrage.
Yeah.
We gotta stop that outrage.
Yeah, they were really outraged
Why
by
are we
that.
outraged by this? Like, we
But
gotta stop that.
I mean,
Yeah.
it
What's
ain't. That's like somebody saying. That's like us saying, okay, your birthday fall on the same day every year, right? Let's just say,
If it fall on Jesus' birthday, I am not celebrating.
you know what I'm saying. But let's
December
just say,
25th or what?
let's just say you
I just
just
playing.
change it, and now all of a sudden, let's just say your day, and something else happens on your day. What? 9/11 happened. And that was a big thing, right? And that was a lot of people's birthdays.
Yeah.
So now that everybody made, he purposely crashed that plane on my birthday. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's almost like they saying.
Oh, okay, I got
You see what I'm saying? So it's like it's a day that's already set. Like you can't change that. The only thing, I mean, it's a leap year. It's a leap year.
Yeah.
It won't be on that day next year.
What you think, brother?
For me, I actually really agree to that point. I think that was really well said. That outrage. Well, it's like it's hard to really listen to the news because that's the whole point of the news is to create an outrage, to create something to where you're supposed to feel a certain way, you're supposed to invoke this feeling, you're supposed to be angry because that's what the emotion that sells the most, or fear. So I just think that they kind of just purposely do that because like do the actual news anchor or the people that get outraged, like I would question how you live your daily lives. Like, are you actually truly living a gospel life, or are you just like trying to get views and grab attention, virtue signal, just so you can like get likes within your own community, and not like be fruitful about it. So that's kind of like how I view it. And the whole Biden is the most Catholic like bit. I'm just like, look. Just because you say you're something, that doesn't mean you fully represent. I can say I'm part of the NBA. Does that make me a part of the NBA though? Like, no, it's just because I claim something doesn't mean I stand true to what it says. Because if he is a Catholic, then he's not a good one. He's kind of messing up there because he's not standing up for what his beliefs should be.
Yeah, I definitely believe it's a lot of pandering going on. I mean, it's definitely politics. He's trying to make sure that he gets those votes. I would be surprised if how much that actually helps him, because I just feel like the LGBT community is just like so much smaller than, okay, so you got Biden pandering to the LGBT community, and then you got Trump pandering to Christians. I mean, he just made his own Bible.
Wild.
I don't know exactly the details of
wild,
it,
bro.
like if it's just published by Trump or what. I don't know. Maybe it's the King James. Who knows?
It is.
I'm
It's
not-
it's
is it?
King James, but it also has like the Constitution of America. So it's basically a patriotic Bible, which is like I don't agree with that because it's like you don't need patriotism. You need just Jesus.
Oh, and that's scary. And it's like, yes, people are outraged at, Biden. I just could care less about Biden, and more so like as Christians, we just are supposed to be focused on Jesus. But it's like the world is going to do what the world does. I'm just like, I'm not surprised like that he's bringing awareness to it. I think he did the same thing last year and the day before that. I mean, he's the guy that signed the bill or executive order that allowed, trans people to be able to do things like, I don't know if it was going into the same restrooms or just what it could cause. He signed these executive or something like, I don't even know how much it is Joe Biden is actually doing, and it's actually like his team, like, so it's like I just don't really pay too much attention to like what are they actually doing to the resurrection day of Jesus Christ. Like they have already shown what they think and who they are. So this is just like, okay, it's not a surprise. Now, originally when I first saw it, I'm thinking they were targeting Christians because they said, hey, this day, we're going to make this a day. Of I had no, see, when it falls on Resurrection Sunday, we notice it now.
Yeah.
We didn't notice it before because it was like, eh.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But let's go to the second clip and then
President Biden, they handed them this baloney that they're on with Fox and everywhere else. He handed it to them because he's a good person, that's why. Because he wants to show that he supports a group of people that is under attack in this country. Yes. And if Trump gets in, they will be even more under attack. Yes. So that's what's happening.
Can I say something about this?
Sure.
I am so angry about this because they are misrepresenting the message of Jesus. They are misrepresenting Catholicism, Christianity.
Yeah.
You know, the trans community is 1.6% of our community. And if you know anything about Jesus, you know that he welcomed lepers. He welcomed prostitutes. He welcomed the least desirables among us in the society at that time. I was in church on Easter Sunday, and our entire homily at St. Charles Borromeo here in Harlem was about Jesus and about how he got up because of us and for us, and he gave his life for us. Yeah. And so for them to be so hypocritical in the name of Jesus is blasphemy.
And by
you
the
all
way,
should be ashamed of yourself.
wait a minute.
all right. So what are your thoughts on that? It's starting to get a little more intense. Oh,
She get mad. She get mad for Jesus. I like it.
I was with her.
I liked her. I would go to her church in Harlem.
Nah, I was with her because, like, to the point earlier, like, Jesus was someone who was a person of the heart, right?
Yeah.
And so the battle starts with the heart. The battle, like, our battle and, like, our call for people to join the church isn't to make them into, like, a project and reform their, like, sexuality or anything like that. Like, the charge is just to love people and to care for people.
Yes.
And, like, to use that as, like, a platform to just, like, fight against that community, that doesn't make sense to me from, like, a Jesus perspective.
So now their objection would be, okay, if you truly love them, why can't you let them be what they want to be? And how I want to hear your response on that.
If I love them, why don't I let them be what they want to be?
Correct.
Yeah.
So my thought process is that, like, the gospel has to be the truth. And I was talking to my wife about this too. Like, I don't necessarily have a hell to put anybody in. I'm not God. And so my charge is to designate the truth. And so if, like, once they, like, are drawn because I uplift God, and then they have that kind of heart conversion, and they're like, what is the truth? You know?
Yeah.
That would be the approach. Or go stay. I can show you some verses, but, I mean, saying the Bible is a thing doesn't even matter to someone that doesn't believe in the Bible. So why am I telling you a scripture, you know?
Right.
So.
Yeah, and then Jesus says, they will know you by how you love each other. You know, that's how the world is supposed to know us. And then, you know, what she said wasn't entirely wrong. Jesus did, bring the low and the marginalized in, but it was because they needed to be cleansed. Mm-hmm. You know, they needed to be changed. They needed to be given hope, that they don't have to stay where they are. You know, and then that's hopefully, that should be the heart of every Christian. Like, you know, be loving, be warm, be the best representation of God that they can be to other people. So that's like on my point.
Now, I'll be honest. I'm reading a little bit past what she's saying. On paper, if she wrote that down, cool. Mm-hmm. But what it's attached to, I'm like, you don't understand the first thing about what it means to live for God for real.
Right.
Because you're attaching this to now if she's just talking about people getting outraged, I got you. But Jesus is not about to have no trans visibility awareness day or month or whatever. So it just, I mean, she didn't say that, but it's just like, we just got to be clear. Like, look, we respect y'all in the differences, but we cannot, some people, it's like the way they speak, right? Like, yes, this can be taken so many different ways, but the way people speak, sometimes they're just so, especially when you get into like Christian politics, like when you get into that, it's so, we accept, like I accept LGBT to my church, but do I accept like the lifestyle? No, I don't. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and try to force you to be something else, but I'm be like, I have to speak against the ideology. I don't have to do it every moment of every day because I like, oh, I gotta be real. But I don't know. I just, when they paint Jesus in this way that he's just super tolerant, it's like there are limits to that statement. Like, he doesn't tolerate sin. He
He gives you the
does
power
what
to
it
overcome
takes
it.
to help you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to help you overcome things, but is he gonna be over there with a flag protesting, or holding up a sign, trans, visibility, awareness? Like, I don't know. I mean, I would say I don't think so at all.
No,
I don't
he
think he
wouldn't.
would.
I think if it was like if you were at the tabernacle or in your church and you had that playing, he would probably tear it down.
Yeah, cause it, like, maybe he, like, if we started a movement like, hey, yo, we gotta come better at how we minister to the community. Like, I'm on that train. I got you. But what their ideology behind trans visibility awareness ain't got nothing to do with God.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So that's like, you lost me. You feel me? So you trying to attach Jesus, like, her tone says like, oh, Jesus is kind of for this in a sense. The way that she's saying it, it's like I can't assume, but I just know the view, they have a very different way to look at how God operates than than real Christians would. So yeah, to say it's blasphemous, it's like, not like that whole resurrection thing, like, it's not, ain't nobody saying that trans people, like, we should beat them down. Like, talking about blasphemous. I mean, I don't know, maybe they were confused about the day.
I
But
think she just was saying how they were. I mean, I get how they were. The not the View, but the other people. Who were they? They were just the news, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I
music.
think she just was saying how like harsh they were. And so she was basically just saying like Jesus was among, you know, how the lepers and the prostitutes. So how are y'all just acting like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how y'all just over here so mad about it? Cause he I ain't saying he accepted, but he gonna stand there and let them come to him if they want to. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
true.
And I think that's what she's saying. Like, y'all sitting there acting like that, but y'all can't be Christians. This is why they won't. That's why they won't turn, cause of how y'all acting. That's why they won't. That's why they won't listen, cause of how y'all acting and claiming to be Christians.
Right.
So I could see where she was coming from. She might have not said it right, but I think that's where she was coming from.
It's interesting, because now there's two views and the view. I was like, there's two perceptions. So on one hand, you have, trans people that are emotionally hurt, but then their ideology, they want to confuse the language. So it's scary, but they're doing it from a place of hurt and they think that's the solution. And then you got Christians on the other hand, like, look, we don't agree with that. Like, and you got some harsh Christians, but just the people that I'm just going to try to describe somebody maybe on Fox. we agree that we got to show you love. We don't agree with your ideology. We don't accept it. We're not using your terms. And you're putting that day, you're celebrating that day on Resurrection Sunday. Now, correction, it started 2009, and then later it fell on that day. So I would have done my research first, and then I wouldn't have got so upset about it. But if someone did choose to like put it on that day, I still feel like I'll just be like, I would kind of ignore it. But I feel like in the political world, they're trying to get, people to agree with their side. So emotional stir-ups are probably what they're using.
It's not necessarily just like the political era, because that's kind of like a symptom or just like a fruit of it. It's like the powers at play.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the LGBT movement is based on the power. It's like that power of promiscuity and like sexual expression that's contrary to the power in the Bible.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where like the line is drawn. It's like the power behind that movement is what we're standing against.
Yeah.
It's not the people,
Right. I would agree. I know that it's really hard to like take in what the news says because there's always a motive behind it. And like Ashley said, it's just to push political views and stuff like that. But I do think people who are watching the news and when they get affected, especially like these Christians that do like make an outrage, is like, I wish they would take the approach that you mentioned, Ashley, like okay, let me sit back, let me actually do my research, because like we're supposed to be more considerate, not just hear the first thing I'm sorry, not like
they
hash
gotta
out the
catch
first thing
that
we
story
hear.
fast, so
Right.
sometimes they be missing stuff.
Yeah. So it's like, it's all about consideration as to how we approach anything. It happened to fall on Easter, right? Now, instead of taking this to a place of outrage, this is a great conversation starter to just talk about Jesus now. Like, oh, you're celebrating this? Well, this is what I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating the resurrection of my King. And I think stuff like that can help, like, to bridge that gap and to show more love instead of this outrage that these Christians, and I mean, to an extent, some of them are legit, but I think we need to do better. And then I know the church has been bad at having sin favoritism. Always love to point out like the few big ones and then not point out the smaller things that also matter, because God called us to be holy. Holy means to stand out. Holy means to be perfect. So it's like, if that's what we're trying to achieve, we shouldn't just focus on the big ones. Like, did you like, I don't know, like, are you struggling with other things that are small? Like, are you struggling with like for me, I know I've been kind of being gluttonous with the way I eat. Like, I started eating more, and it's like,
we're gonna
I'm giving
that
into my
spirit
flesh.
right now.
Right, please.
Get up.
Or like the spirit of like laziness, like stuff like that. These are things that we should also battle and not just focus on like, oh, you're straight. Like, and no offense to my family, but when I was in the world, I was supposedly a Catholic, but I was having sex outside of marriage, and like my parents never like fought that against me. But when it came to drugs, oh man, like if they would have heard anything, and I never did it, but like if they would ever like heard something about me doing drugs, they would have like beaten it down on me. But when it came to other things, it didn't. It's like, we can't have sin favoritism in the church.
Yeah. So play the last one. There's one more, right?
There's one more, yeah.
And then we'll,
And finally, there was also an attack on churches that welcomed the trans community that day. To Sunny's point, there is nothing less in touch with the gospel than wanting to bring in as many people to hear the good news of Christ.
Because they forget. See, this, if you don't get it, and I know people give us a lot of stuff because they think that we also have no idea. I know there's a legal note. I'm going to get to it. But, we have our beliefs in God. We know the difference between what it says and what it doesn't. And regardless of what you think of us, at least we read our Bibles. So you got to leave it.
We read it
Let me calm down.
All right. Yeah. So the she brought up something about accepting churches going the extra mile to accept trans and that community. And there's some signs like we have trans, LGBT, we support Black Lives Matter, we support this at certain churches. So what do you think about that? And if you want to comment on the video too, but yeah, what do you think about, because that's kind of what she was referring
Is she saying
to.
they support it, or are they saying they welcome it?
Like they're like, I'll say, really, I feel like my perception is based on like me getting the perspective of people on The View a lot more. So I kind of know like when they say certain things, it's certain buzzwords, certain keywords. It's like, all right, you talking about this. So let's just say that, they're not talking about that, but they did bring up a good point. So we'll say, where's the balance? Like, how much should you, because they got churches that'll play secular music in the fellowship hall because they want to pull in those people. You see what I'm saying? So where should we draw the line? Like, should we have signs that say, we support LGBT, we support BLM, we support all these other things?
No,
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't get the points of the signs.
The support is what's getting me.
Yeah.
If that's why I think I'm
the sign, like a sign saying we support.
Because I seen some churches, boy, they listing all. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Because when I think of support, that means you want to grow it. Like you're trying to grow it.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm thinking of it. And I think from a Christian perspective, that wouldn't make sense if your goals are to draw people to the faith.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that's not ideal to have a sign that says we support anything. That's almost like we support adult, like we welcome
or Satanism.
We welcome
Satanists at our church.
Just from a biblical perspective, that doesn't make sense because you're trying to get people to God. So, like, if you're saying it from a perspective of we welcome you here, this is where you can
you're
come.
welcome. Yeah,
this is a community. We walk with you. There's a song. It's like, keep on walking with my limp. That type of stuff. Like, if you gonna come in that way, that makes sense.
Sing it now. Let's have church. Not that way.
I was about to say, no.
Sing it right now. Instant in season. Yeah.
That's my thought on it.
Agree. That's what once he put it all together. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I do feel like people going that extra mile to. It's like, bro. It's scary how far people will go. It's like, yes, we gotta pull people in. But it's like, now if I'm pulling a bunch of LGBT people to my church with the way that I promote, it's like I need my resume to match who I am. I need my sign to match. I'm not about to have, like, when they put LGBT in rainbow letters, it's like, bruh, I need my sign to match what's on the inside of church. So if I'm over here, I'm going to tell you the truth that homosexuality is a sin. You're going to be confused once you see that sign. You're going to be like, what? So it's like, unless I'm using some tactics to try to pull you in, maybe, I don't know.
Because it seems like the way you would approach that is like, we support people that have like same-sex attraction. Because that's a different thing. Like, if you attracted to your gender, your sex, like if you're attracted to it, but you want to like draw closer to God and in turn learn like how to crucify those desires, that would be a way that makes sense for you to promote it at your church. Like, that's how I would promote it if I had a church.
Because I say,
I will go to your church.
we wouldn't support we wouldn't support the LGBT ideology, but we support the people.
The people,
You
right?
see what I'm
We
saying?
love the people.
And that's why I
you know?
like to differentiate. I wanted to show this Caitlyn Jenner. If y'all know Caitlyn Jenner, which
Yeah,
is
we
actually,
know.
Oh no, it's just ain't no more videos.
Oh,
Caitlyn Jenner, which is
Bruce Jenner.
Bruce Jenner, Brucey. I was thinking about Nemo. Said the only thing to proclaim on Easter is 3 words: He has risen. I was like, yo, you are something else. I just can't understand.
what was he trying? What do you think he was trying to say?
He's talking about God for sure. He's talking about
I
Jesus
think
rose.
Caitlyn is trying to go back to Bruce stuff, though.
Maybe because of the way.
What makes you think that?
I
I'm
think I
behind.
heard- I think I read that.
He said I'm
I am. I'm sorry.
I'm behind too. I just know that
I think I read it somewhere.
her,
It could've been
she,
a
her.
fib, though.
I might have
You might have read it too?
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, instead of like, if he were to say something like that, we should be like, well, let's pray that he's being genuine.
Because he's
And
not
if
wrong.
he's not, the Lord, the word says God is not mocked. So let the Lord handle that. Like we seem to forget that God always said to the Israelites that the revenge is his. So whatever happens to us, whatever attack they want to do, whether they put it on the same day as the resurrection day or like any other Christian
Next
holiday.
year it falls on 420. I mean, well,
now I want to see
Easter,
everybody mad about
East-
420 next
Easter
year, too.
falls, Resurrection Sunday fall on 420 next
Dang.
year.
And guess what? Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Them folks still gonna go outside.
Unless
they gonna
President
roll up,
Biden's like,
and they gonna.
we want to
well, if he's still
recognize
president.
420.
As if he's still president.
Cause I don't think Trump going. We want to recognize 420. It's a big deal. I was like, very big deal.
Yeah.
Let's get high in the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Nah, he ain't gonna say that.
Nah, he ain't saying
Dang,
anybody,
man.
boy.
You said something that I wanted to.
Oh,
Are
what,
you over here
Johnny?
trying to-
Yeah. Dang, what did you say? I wanted to ask you a question.
Well, I was
Whatever day
I
it
was
falls
mentioning
on,
like
something
we
like
should
Genuine.
So it was the comment regarding Bruce, or I'm sorry, Kaitlyn,
He ain't
saying-
offended me. You know?
saying
His
he
name
is
was
he is risen.
Yeah.
And so my thing is like, as a church, what would be our, like, how would we help somebody that had already
You
went
mean
to
make
the-
the surgery and
yeah,
everything?
or even scenarios where like they married already?
But he ain't married.
No, I'm saying like in a situation where like they were in the community and they got married, fully married as 2 men.
well
Like, how do you?
I don't think that's a legit marriage if it's not
But they come. But legally, it is.
legally
oh
it is.
legally.
Under the law, yeah.
Oh
They,
Of the
they
land.
are by law.
dang, I could forgot
And
about
again,
that.
I'm not gonna blame Obama. I'm blaming the cult because, like, bro, you just a pawn.
Right. Yeah,
Like, who
that's,
you
that's
just
true.
you just a pawn, bro. I'm not gonna blame you.
Yeah.
What you and the Antichrist? Well, some people did think he was the Antichrist.
Well, I think of it this way.
True.
In the book of Acts, all the believers came and dropped all their resources to help one another. And I
you
personally
gotta drop
like,
everything. Get divorced. I'm just like,
No, because we wouldn't. They
I'm
would
just
have to like be like, we.
Yeah.
Because when you come to church, you have your altar call. They say we want to be,
yeah.
you know, followers of Christ now, disciples, and
that's tough.
now they're like, you know, what's the
Even-
journey? What's the
Yeah.
journey?
Even
That would
having
be-
a
that's their
it would start
question
with
in the
divorce.
church.
I
Huh?
guess it would
even
start with
having
divorce.
even having a transgender in the church by themselves, like you go into the restroom, like we gotta make sure you going by yourself because other people gonna feel like they're gonna be like, you know, it's gonna be some people in there gonna be like, I can't wait till they leave. You just know. That's what some people gonna be thinking, and it's gonna be tough because like, what restroom do y'all go in? Like, it's, oh man, that's a tough thing to. But you know, it's like I definitely want to have at least the right spirit. Like I would never go to them and be like, yo, you can't come here dressed like that. That
Well,
would be crazy.
from the video, I've seen people who became trans, like they actually transitioned and then they came to Christ and they just dropped whatever they had. So like, I don't know, it was this girl trying to become a guy. Her voice sounds like a man's voice, but like she stopped dressing like a woman I'm sorry, no, she stopped dressing like a man, started, dressing like what she's comfortable in. Not necessarily like dress like a woman, but she's stopped being very masculine. Let her hair grow out. She got a hard jawline, but like is accepting that she was made as a woman, and she is trying to get back to it as best as she can. And if someone is like doing that, or in the situation that they're married, I think we should just always try to support them the best they can. Like, hey, look, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong. Like, I don't think there's a way to like, just because you transition to one sex, you have to now dress like the other. Like, no, just dress comfortably. Like, if you want to dress in sweatpants and a t-shirt, like,
yeah, because
but
isn't it Jackie Hill Perry that still sort of kind of dresses comfortably?
Yeah, right.
Because she used to be gay as well, right?
Correct. So to your point, like, how would they transition? It's just they would just be themselves as how God made them, to where they're gonna start identifying as the gender that God made them, and they will start, I guess, in a way, allowing things to happen and based on their biology. So like a woman will allow their hair to grow, a man would allow facial hair to grow. I don't know, like what like it's just it's not like, oh man, you have to like do the 180. You just stop and let God do his thing. And we can, as a community, we should be praying for healing, restoration. Look,
it's a detransition community.
Yeah, look,
it's a whole community of
right. So I feel like if God were to choose, he can restore anything. The vocals, like even the genitals, like why can't God do any of that? Not to say that he always will, but I just think the transition shouldn't be as hard, in terms of like their appearance. Like they just do.
I know it's it cannot be an easy thing.
Oh, it's not.
Once you walk that far away from God, and the possibility to where you may not be made whole until he gives you a new glorified body, you got to kind of think like, well, I got to be ready to find happiness maybe once I leave the earth. You know what I'm saying? Not self-deletion, not unaliving yourself. Is not what I'm talking about. So just make that clear. I'm not promoting that. But once God comes back, maybe, it's just, that's tough, because God himself said, if you don't want the truth, he'll send you, if you don't have a love for the truth, he'll send you a strong delusion. So that's a scary rope to walk right there, boy. But it's a group of people it's a community of detransition people. That's that's making it. So it's scary.
Yeah, they usually tend to look back to like what their original gender is. So going back to your question about like the whole divorce thing, like the whole legal side of things, I think they should just go ahead and go through a divorce, and then the church should stand behind to assist any financial burdens, because we're supposed to carry each other's burden. So that's like my view on that. Like, if they need to do a legal thing, we should be behind them, giving them lawyers, giving them this and that, whatever resources they need to, help them, because that's what we're called to do. So
giving them, Lord. Okay.
So there are some LGBT holidays, and I want to read through them, because this was so interesting to me, because as Christians, we gotta support the holidays, right? We gotta be aware, because we're loving people, honestly. But you can click the article. Look at this. Let me read it right here. So we got February 20 through 26, Aromantic Spectrum Awareness Week. March, Bisexual Health Awareness Month. March 1st, Zero Discrimination Day. March 31st, International Transgender Day of Visibility, and that was one that just passed. April 6th, Asexuality Day. I don't know what the difference is. What's different from that and the other ones. April 22nd, Day of Silence. I don't understand. April 26th, International Lesbian Visibility Day. May 17th, International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia. May 19th, Agender Pride Day. May 22nd, Harvey Milk Day. What is that? May
Oh,
24th. You know what that is?
Harvey Milk.
You
Troy,
are
you don't know.
informed,
You don't
dog.
know.
How you gonna tell me I don't know?
Google it. Google
get it for you.
it. Google it.
May 24th, Pansexual and Pan Romantic Visibility Day. What's the difference in that? And the other was June Pride Month. They got a whole month. June 5th, HIV Long-Term Survivor Awareness Day. That's got to be a problem if you actually celebrating that for LGBT.
What the day was?
June 5th,
What does it say?
HIV Long-Term Survivors Awareness Day.
Oh.
So, like, bruh, like the detail is in the, like, come on. June 12th, Pulse Remembrance Day. What? I think that's to say, like, we have a pulse, like, trend, the community, we are real, we exist, like, we're alive, something like that.
Oh, okay.
June 28th, Stonewall Riots anniversary. I think maybe some LGBT got together and did a riot or something. A riot is a holiday. That's crazy. July 6th, Omnisexual Visibility Day. Like, what? That's the same thing as Pride Month.
Look at
Like
that, August 14th.
July 11th through 17th, non-binary awareness week. What is the difference in that and the other months? July 14th, International Non-Binary Day. What is the difference in that? Okay. July 16th, International Drag Day. That's the one I'm probably most against. August 14th, Gay Uncle Day. And then they gave us a break the rest of the month. September 16th through 22nd, Bisexual Awareness Week. What's the difference in that and all the other days? September 23rd, Bisexual Visibility Day. October, LGBT History Month. What's the difference in that and Pride Month? June, was it October 11th, National Coming Out Day. You can come out many days, but I guess that's the best day to do it. October 20, International Pronoun Day. What is the difference in that and all the other days? October 21st, Spirit Day.
Hold up. I want to go back to this Harvey Milk.
We're gonna go back to it. We're gonna go back to it. October 24th, Asexual Awareness Week. What is the difference in that and all the other days? October 26th, Intersex Awareness Week. Oh, nothing falls on my birthday. Thank the Lord. I ain't got to get mad like the Fox station did. November, Trans Awareness Month. Oh my gosh. November 6th, Transgender Parent Day. I told you I was going to be transparent. I didn't know that that's what we were talking about. November 8th, Intersex Day of Remembrance. November 13th through 19th, Trans Awareness Week. Oh my gosh.
Wait, what? Oh, I'm sorry. Trans Awareness Month. And then Trans Awareness Week?
Inside of the
that's
month.
a little interesting.
Look, umbrella terms now. November 20th, it's a gay umbrella. November 20, Transgender Day of Remembrance. Remember the trans people. December 1st,
Oh my.
World AIDS Day. If you want to know where AIDS is most prominent, LGBT community already had it figured out. We don't even have to say it because they can say it for themselves. December 8th, Pansexual Pride Day. December 10th, Human Rights Day. I mean, goodness, guys, like...
So the post
Give us a break, you know what I mean?
The post Remembrance Day is for the shooting that happened at the nightclub in Florida.
Was that
That was at the gay club where the shooting happened.
okay? Well, I'm not, I'm not
So we're
mad
not
at that
gonna-
day.
Yeah, we're gonna be mad at that day.
Yeah, I'm
And
just
Harvey
like,
Milk was
I feel you,
assassinated.
cause don't nobody
Harvey
need
Milk was
to.
assassinated. Well, he
He got
was gay.
Yeah, he was
Oh.
gay, openly gay, and he got elected to the San Francisco
The only
I think
reason
mayor's office, and then they assassinated him,
Wow.
and he's essentially like a martyr for that community.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only reason I was laughing at August the 14th is because I got somebody I need to call and apologize for not.
For not celebrating the day with them.
Oh,
But not, I didn't know it had that
Yeah,
many days,
man.
and I was out there.
You
Hold
get
on, he
mad.
said
We
that-
gonna go back to that
Oh.
chart. in a minute.
yeah, they call him and apologize.
I'm gonna call him and apologize.
Lord.
But no, for real, I didn't.
So many days.
I
yo.
didn't know it had that many days, and I was out there.
They
The only
gave us a
thing-
break
the
in
only thing-
January, so
The only
January
thing I really, really, really
is
knew
completely
about, though,
straight month.
the only thing I really, really knew about though, for real, that was like big in like Atlanta was the
the pride.
the prides. That
The
was
Pride
like huge,
Month or
like
Yeah,
the
like they
pride
had parades and
parade. Like they had parade.
Oh,
It was like
yeah.
a whole big thing.
Those Pride
Those are the only
parades
things-
I heard are crazy. I have never been to one, obviously, but I heard that they are like like whipping Jesus in the pride parades. I don't
I
know
ain't
if
never
it's
seen
all
that.
of them, but yeah.
I ain't never seen that one. That one didn't make it in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it's most about like the ones you said, like it's mostly about drag queens and people just out celebrating being out.
Yeah, the footage I've
But
seen.
all the rest of it, I didn't even know those were days. Honestly, I didn't. Truly.
It's
You know,
a
the
lot of
footage I've seen
days,
with the
yo.
pride thing is like they're like everyone's like half naked or almost naked.
It's
just crazy.
Yo, I'm just like, all right, well. Somebody asked me the other day, because I made a statement. I said, I don't think me and a gay person can be like homies. You know, when I say homie, that's different than just, I'm cool with you. We can have a conversation. I can invite you to the cookout. That's not what I like, homies. So what are y'all's thoughts on that? But I could be wrong. That's my view though. And I'm not talking about like, okay,
Let's see.
homie now. But y'all say what y'all feel. You know, be honest, because y'all might change my mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm open.
Well, I have one that I call like sister. She's stud though. So I mean, I don't know how much longer we're gonna be friends after this. But you know. No, this man. No, that's my dog. Like we have a mutual understanding. Like
That's a real
we
homie.
ain't. Yeah,
She
like
can watch this and
she
she
can
cool
watch
with
this
you.
and she gonna be like, cause like I had to have a conversation with her when I was like, I guess you could say transitioning back over like to my whole everything. She asked me a bunch of questions and I told her or whatever. But like honestly, when I was out with Lex to them today and we were talking, I was like, dog, I said, do y'all have a homosexual on the show? She was like, they had one and one. I was like, dog, you should have told me. Like she cool. Like she would have came and talked and we would have had that view and our views and
Yeah. I'm
so,
always trying to set up conversation. If
Yeah.
they don't feel like we're too harsh, because I just try to be real, but it's like, I mean, I went on a whole podcast with some gay
Yeah.
people and they didn't, you know,
Yeah.
they didn't have a problem with me.
Like she's
that I
sending me
know of.
stuff right now. Like, but like she's sending me like, what is it? How you saying memes back and forth? That's how we talk. But that's my dog. Like if I see her in person, that's my dog. But like we send memes back and forth and laugh all day.
Do you think it might be different for you because you have more of an understanding since you kind of like partook
Probably
maybe?
so, cause I met her when I was out there. You know what I'm saying? And then once, so it probably is like that. Probably so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What you think, brother?
I have to think about it, cause
Hey, y'all.
but
Sound. Hey, y'all.
I don't know, cause you said homie, so that means extremely like close. I hang out with them all the time.
Yeah.
Is it on there?
I don't know.
That's not.
I don't know. I would.
Y'all.
There's nothing that says hey y'all.
Did I not put that on there?
No, it's
Let
no.
me see. Let me just look at it real
Oh,
quick.
yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you don't know if you can be friends?
I'm sure I could be friends, but when I think of like homies, I mean like you over all the time, like we hang out all the time. I'm just trying to think of like,
It say hey y'all.
We just
But it's not.
That's funny.
cause I had like, you know, my roommates in college, were gay, and so like we would have conversations, but like our interests didn't really align, and certain conversations that I was in with them were uncomfortable because it was unnatural.
Yeah.
And so it was like, or it was unnatural to me. I guess they believed it was normal, but like that was difficult for me to be in all the time. So it would just, our interests would have to align, and we can't talk about what they doing. You know what I mean?
I will say, probably with men, it's probably a lot different. I don't, cause they don't care. Like they say whatever. I just say with like me and my friend, we have more of like a respect thing. Like she don't talk about, you know what I'm saying? It used to be a time where we did talk about it, but then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be interested in talking about it anymore. And then she understood that. So we don't really talk about anything that we don't talk about her dating life. She don't tell me who she dating anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really care to hear that who you went out on a date with last night. So you know what I'm saying. But most men, yeah, I can understand that because most men don't care. They
But I'm
just
trying to challenge myself.
they say what.
I got
'Cause
I got a
I'm saying,
challenge for you in a minute.
Yeah, I'm trying to
But
challenge
that's your
myself
view
because
now.
I'm saying like no, like it'd be uncomfortable, but things don't have to be comfortable. That just wouldn't be like the normal thing for me.
I feel you. What you
Yeah.
think, Johnny?
Well, you know my relationship with Joanne. To me,
Whoa.
my
You gotta
friendship.
cl-
All right,
you
my
gotta
friendship.
no. You gotta clarify that. Cause I just asked you, can you be be homies with
Oh,
LGBT?
okay. Yeah.
Jawan is the straightest dude that we know.
Absolutely.
Let's put some respect on his name first. Then you can finish.
All right. Before I was saved, I was friends with Jawan, and Jawan was.
Oh, what's up, Dolly Bone? Hit them horns for me, brother.
Oh, yo.
Every time Dolly Bone come in the chat, bro, we gotta hit the horns. She's like one of the biggest supporters we got, man. So we wouldn't be here without her. There you go. All right. So what are you saying, bro?
But
About your straight, alpha male friend Jawan.
just to represent there real quick. But
Okay.
yeah, no, I was friends with Jawan, and I considered him a very close friend.
Yeah.
Did he think of me as that? I don't know. I know he considered me very close though. And we'd talk, and he would always hear everything I was saying. And one thing that he told me was he wanted to correct me so many times, but he heard the Holy Spirit said, no, just love him. Because of Joanne, like, the word says some place seeds, other water. Joanne was the man who really watered me because of our friendship and because of how close we were. And if it weren't for that friendship, because to me, it's also like I wanted someone who was on. He wasn't afraid of sharing his thoughts, but also was always listening to me. He was always caring about me. And then, I have an interest in dance and flipping and all that, and he does that too. So I like you mentioned, the interest part definitely has to be in place, because if you don't have any shared interest, even if you were both believers, it's not gonna be the best conversation. So I think that you can have a very close friend. Now, is this someone that can be your ride or die? I think that's up to you. I think you definitely would. A Christian friend should be your ride or die, because you guys are both in it for for Jesus and all that. But I just know because of that friendship, I got to see Jesus, and I got to be saved. Because I saw how much he depended on God, and it got me questioning, like, dang, I need to do the same. So for me, like how you mentioned, like they'd have these conversations about who they're dating and whatnot. I always want to have an open heart to at least try to listen to them and just show them, hey, I care about you. If they have relational problems, I will try to help them out while preaching the gospel. Like, hey, like, maybe you're showing a little bit too much pride. Maybe maybe this person is doing that too. But I would always point it back to, like, this is going to be a problem for you because you don't know what love is, because love has been perverted. Love is to just be whatever you want versus what love actually was. No greater love is this, that you lay down your life for a friend. Like, that's what love is. You're laying down your life. And like, to me, I want to represent that. Like, yes, we don't agree, but just know I'm willing to lay down my life for you. And I think you have to be at a certain level of like closeness to be able to show that. So that's my stance. I think you can be close. But when it comes to spiritual needs, you're obviously not going to go to them. You have to go to a believer for that. But in terms of like practical secular world stuff, like, yeah, I don't see why you couldn't be close. And who knows what God can do through that relationship.
Yeah, I think Darius Daniels broke this down really well when it comes to the 4 different type of friends. And I always like to use this. Like, you have your friends, you have mentors, you have assignments, and you have like associates, people you work with, stuff like that. So it would be difficult to put assignment in the category of friend. Now, when you are someone's friend, you both are like, prioritizing each other in some sense. But to me, it's really not even about so much the homosexual thing or anything like that. It's more so about, like, Terrell said, what do we actually have in common? Like people that are like so into sports and they don't care about God like that. Like even those type of people that are not in this community, still I would have a hard time like, yo, that's my homie. Now, is it about me like rejecting that person? No. Like, yo, I want to invite you to ball. Like I've been with some people, hung out with some people, it's their birthday, it's a friend, and I go hang out with them. I'm like, I feel like I'm kind of like I talk about God, like not even necessarily all the time.
Yeah, it's gonna come up.
We gonna talk about these type of subjects. We're gonna talk about current events, what's going on, godly perspective. Like it's very difficult to talk to somebody about sports when they don't watch it. And it's like you're telling me, somebody came to me and said, yo, you seen that game? I was like, nah, I don't really watch sports like that, bro. It was just, man, it was crazy. Like he had to tell somebody. So I'm just like, I don't know what you talking about.
But okay.
Like but I'm listening. But it's like it don't, like nah, none of that. I don't care about it because it's not what I do. But can we find things to talk about like this show? Like, yeah, let's talk about this, let's talk about that. But it's like when it comes down to the fundamental, the core values, it's like we're not going to share on, like, God is not just a hobby. That is my life. So that's what makes it difficult when, you know, people are prioritizing other things over their relationship with God. It's like, yo, unfortunately, when the Bible says what fellowship does righteousness have with unrighteousness, he was talking about me joining and being a part of your club. He wasn't talking about you being a part of mine.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because I seen, it might have been on social media, but it was like, if you got a friend and he cheat on his wife,
Same thing, bro.
Hey, man, I'm sorry. You gotta be, you at a distance.
You got to be excluded from the club. I'm not
if
from
you
the
would
club,
do
but I
that-
got to be excluded from your club.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You
So
can come
that's
to the
like,
church,
we
but
got
I'm-
the same
yeah.
interests, but your level of discipline almost,
Or people that have, like, if it's a man and they got 2 wives, I don't feel comfortable inviting you to the cookout, bro.
yeah, and
Around
you
my
gonna bring both of
kids,
your
like,
wives,
it's another
so
disconnect
it's
we
just
got.
like you have core fundamental beliefs that are differently.
Yeah.
Or
But
different.
the love is still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is really hard. I think for those relationships, you just got to be led by the Holy Spirit, because who's to know that maybe it's that cookout that your friend needs, who has the 2 wives, to really see the love of Christ.
That's true. It's just
You
my
know?
kids ain't gonna be there.
No. I agree with that.
Right.
I agree with that. No,
You're right.
protect who you
It's
need to
certain
protect.
cookouts we gotta set up
Right.
with a thought in mind, like
Yeah.
I'm here to minister right now.
Yeah, it's like
They don't know it, but I'm here to minister.
Yeah.
Sorry to say, that's Christians' minds have to be set up that way, but not necessarily. What verses am I gonna read? No.
it's like God.
I'm cooking for you
Yeah.
because I'm a servant. So when the Bible says, when he shows all these people washing each other's feet, we see the apostles washing each other's feet. Oh, these people were followers of God. But we forget Jesus washed the feet of people that were not perfect.
Judas.
That's the part that he washed the feet of Judas. So we don't understand, like, oh, we take that like, oh yeah, these apostles, people of God, brothers and sisters, we watch just no. This goes way farther than that. We are supposed to be servants of the very people that are against us. Because that's how you win them. Your enemy, if you feed them, you reap hot coals upon their head. This is how we are supposed to come at winning those people from that community. I'm like, hey, let's have y'all over. Let's have this, exclude the kids. Let's have y'all over for cooking.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Let me come to your house and cook for you. Let me bring some of my brothers and sisters. I ain't got to necessarily even mention like they Christian, because you don't care about that anyways, right? I'm just bringing my brothers and sisters over that love people, and we gonna do something.
I remember when I thought that ministry was like ministering equals preaching.
Bro, say that again.
Like I didn't know ministry.
Hit the horns, brother. Stop playing.
I didn't know it was serving. That's all I had to say. I
Yeah.
just
Oh.
really didn't.
Nah, brother.
But now it's just
That's a bar,
I
bro.
had to
Let
do
the Lord use you now.
I had to do a study, and it was like Christ came to minister. I.e., to your point, he came to serve.
Yeah.
He came to serve the people. You know.
Bro, that's the ultimate ministry right there. Everybody want to grab the mic.
Right.
It's like, I feel you. We got 4 mics in here. Like, hold it close to you, because you got something. But
Like I had
But
to give
serving,
somebody
man.
their
I'm not touching
flowers at
nothing in here.
church.
you already broke the mic stand.
Right.
You obviously you led by
putting it on
God. You're trying to take the
Not
mic
touching
away,
nothing.
teaching us to serve.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I heard there's this Christian artist that I like to listen to, KB.
Yeah, KB.
He was mentioning that
Imagine that.
we ideally would sleep for 8 hours, and like if there's 24 hours a day, that's roughly like around 1/3, right? And then another 1/3 will be in our jobs. So 1/3 of our judgment is gonna be how we behaved at our jobs and how did we minister based on what we did. Were we kind? Were we not? Were we sharing the truth? Were we not? And stuff like that. So I think that how we behave is like the biggest ministry we could ever do. So
Yeah, that's true. To that point, because I was, you know, you don't never really think about how you are at your job. And one day I was riding home with one of my coworkers, and she was like, you know, Cree, I don't know, but some kind of way you just show love to everybody, even the people that you know we don't like, and everybody don't like this one person, but you treat everybody the same. And I was like, oh, I do, but you know, but that's just me as a, you know, that just is like that speaks as to who I am as
That
a
mean
person.
it's just in you.
Yeah, and I was like, I wasn't even paying attention to it. You know what I'm saying? I just was at work like. Just cause you don't like him and he don't like you, like I'm not gonna treat
right.
just cause, and I don't even know what y'all issue is. You know what I'm saying? It's 3 times. It's 3 of y'all, so what that mean? 3 sides to every story. So so when she told me that, I went and told my mom, and I was like, that really touched me, cause I ain't even think about it, and it just made me make it more aware of. Okay, now I got to make sure I'm doing this in my everywhere at school, wherever I'm at, you know. So that just made me think about that when you said that. You do got to have that even on your job, even when they make you mad at 7 o'clock on the call in the morning.
Talk about it.
Make you show at 3 o'clock when it's supposed to be 3:45.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to this chart. You can do the articles. It's interesting how everything has changed throughout the years. So I'm gonna read it. It's right here. You know, people at home, they can probably see it a little better than us. Golly, I can't even pull it up. Okay, so you got 7.2% of U.S. adults identify as LGBT now, right?
How many? 72?
7.2.
Oh,
If
7.2.
it's 72, goodness,
Well,
marriage is done. Heterosexual marriage ain't happening no
No,
more.
we found out a couple episodes ago. Marriage is still real.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. 7.2%. Now that number is very big compared to where it used to be. That's a lot of people, even though it's a small percentage. So, we got, let's see, Gen Z. That's the new people that were born in 1997 to 2004. Is that what that is? Yeah. So, let's see, generation
1992 to 2004.
1997 to 2004. People that were born. So I'm right before Gen Z. I'm a millennial, 1981 to 1996. Generation X, 1965 to 1980. Baby boomers, 1946 to 1964. Traditionals before 1946. So, you know, they on here somewhere. So
That's roughly around 21
I think
million, by the way.
there's
Jesus.
percentages more so stayed the same. Blue it increased a little bit, went to 2.7, and then the Generation X, the baby boomers pretty much stayed the same. Generation X, they went up just I feel like they kind of went down a little bit. Look at God.
They decreased.
Millennials.
Look at God.
So from 2014, it was a little above 5%. Then 2022, it's at 11.2%. So now, was it Gen Z? Boy, they coming in hot. So you know this is not just people just naturally. There's something in the water.
You heard of the baby boom? So in the 90s was like when it was normalized to like have same-sex marriage, and they started adopting.
In the
And so
1990s?
like in the 90s, yeah.
Cause you got
Because I think that's why the Generation Z is probably so high.
yeah, cause Gen Z 2020, 15%, and then in 2022 it was at 19%. So, literally this is the gayest year to be alive, you know what I'm saying? The gayest year in the world.
Talking about 2024.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Gayest it's ever been, right?
supposedly a study came out
You can go with
that
the main.
oh, yep, Maine. There's a study that showed that it actually dropped a bit towards 2023.
Did it?
Yeah, by a few percentage. Like the acceptance of it, the toleration of it, it's actually dropped. I don't know if it dropped from 2022 to 2024, but I just know that's something that actually happened. Ruslan actually covered it.
Oh wow. Okay. Cause the TikTok stuff, boy, I feel like that is such a big influence on it.
Oh, yeah.
The media, the move, and it's like I understand like some people, their mindset on it, cause if they're not like focused on like what God wants in the Bible, and say, oh, that's a fake book that was written by some men and da da da, so they're thinking, well, we just want to be more accepting. So if it was just you wanted to be accepting, then I could probably look past that because you're not Christian. But I think it's gotta be a little more than just we just want to represent. We just want to. It's like now, because if you look on TikTok, you see a bunch of like extra stuff, like people identifying as wolves. It's getting crazy. So I don't think it like they had a thing in Berkeley. I mean, University of Berkeley. They are putting stuff in the water to try to make the frogs gay.
What?
It's I mean, you just look it up, like University of Berkeley. This was done like a while ago. I mean, you look up John Money and that whole thing. 19, I forget what year it was, but you look up John Money. He was involved in something where they were trying to raise two kids, two males. Like one of them they were trying to raise them as girls and see if they would actually become girls. And that's where the whole transgender movement really started. So, like, you might have had people cross-dressing and being gay, but like transgender people actually thinking that I can actually become a woman. Like that started, like you look up John Money, very horrific story about what happened with those two kids. So
Man.
it's a little bit more in the water than just acceptance. That's
Right.
all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah,
I think
absolutely.
it's definitely purposeful, like the spread of the doctrine of the LGBTQ. And just if you look at the history of it, it's kind of been in stages, and there have been like really pivotal moments that kind of turned the tides, like the Stonewall riots, for instance, and then also like the Milk guy, that assassination. But up until recently, I think in the 20th century, it was kind of like it was considered a mental disorder
Yeah.
to be homosexual or identify as the opposite gender. So I think the reversal of that and downgrading it from a mental thing was like
Yeah.
very pivotal in
It's
the
been stages for sure.
yeah, and the progression of it as a normalized things that now when we see it, we don't even have a second thought of the normalcy of it in the culture.
That's good.
Cause I think like what you said. First, they say that it's not as bad as we think. Then they kind of like make it funny, and we're all laughing at it. And then like this is what I was talking about on the whole Medea topic. I mean, maybe everybody doesn't agree with me, but first they make it like it's not as bad as we think, because it's annoying, and they put it in our faces, and then it's funny, and then it's tolerated, and then it's accepted, and then it's promoted to as many people as possible. To the now it's becoming, the process is starting with the kids now. It's not as bad as, like, children identifying in this community is not as bad as we think. And now if you watch the What Is a Woman documentary, bro, it's gonna blow your mind. It's crazy. It's on Daily Wire, but they got it other places that you can watch it. That's all I'm gonna say. But it blew my mind. This dude's going, Matt Walsh, he's going to all these universities talking about, he's trying not to come out and just say what is a woman, because they don't want to answer that question. It's a circular. A woman is someone who can identify as a woman, is someone who identifies as a woman. It doesn't get to the actual definition. They actually made a sticker that says a woman is someone who identifies as a woman. It's a sticker that you could. It's crazy, but they have a whole documentary, and they go to these universities and they talk to these professors, and they say, so could I become maybe I'm a woman. I like scented candles. And so they're actually saying this. He's trying to be like, he's coming off, he's trying to actually like seem genuine. He obviously doesn't believe this stuff, but he's trying to show, like, see if they actually take it. And they go to like the gender therapist, gender affirming therapist, something like that, psychiatrist or whatever. Then they go to a doctor, and it's so crazy, the stuff, man. It's just, it's some agendas going on, bro, and it's causing more confusion than just accepting people who naturally have, like you said, mental, like, gender dysphoria, like people who actually have that issue, that situation. It's not just that. But I wanted to ask you, do you feel like you actually had like a dysphoria, or do you think it was something else?
No, I don't think I had a dysphoria.
So I was curious what actually like caused you to go down that path. Do you feel like, because you say you don't feel like it was something that you kind of, because I say it like this. I was on the podcast with
The men.
with the men, and they were saying like, no, nothing happened to me. This is just the way God made me. So that I was like, that's interesting, because almost every single time I ask somebody, they even make this a bold statement like, hey, you have to understand, you have to understand because of what they've been through. So that's a big bold statement. So I'm like, okay, so you're saying that this is not how you were made because you've been through something.
Right. I was not made.
But this was different. I ain't never really heard somebody say, no, nothing happened to me. My dad was in my life. This is just, what happened. I was like, that's very hard to believe, but I can't like assume. So I was like, I'm going to take your word for it.
Yeah. They probably lying. Maybe. I don't know. But for me, I just remember at a young age, you know what I'm saying? That's all I can remember. And so maybe them doing that did make me be attracted to women as well. I just know, like, my friend that I was talking about had a similar story, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I have talked to quite a few people. Like, and it could just be on my walk, you know what I'm saying? It could have just been the people I was meeting. Like, God probably had me meeting those same people for a certain reason. But, like, nobody has ever said, oh, I just came out the womb this way. Like, so I don't know. Some people, I don't know.
So
I can't speak. I can't speak
it's
for.
kind of hard to believe, but it's
yeah,
possible.
but it's possible. It's kind of hard to believe, but it's possible. But I just know most of the people that I've personally spoken with has had something.
I can attest to that, because the people I've met that were part of that community had a very bad experience, whether they were younger or even just like, because I had a lot of female friends in high school. Then the ones that did like become lesbian were the ones that had very terrible experience by men. Whether they got raped or like
Graped.
Oh, grape. Sorry, yeah. Whether they got essayed and all that, like. Yeah. Usually there's always a cause to want to reject normalcy.
Yeah.
So.
For somebody to say I was born this way. Like, that's an interesting statement right
And
there.
I'm going in my head and I'm thinking about everybody that I know. You know
I
what I'm
think
saying?
it's possible now that I'm thinking about it.
What?
I read somewhere that I think explained it really well. It's like we all born in sin and shaped in iniquity. So there's definitely probably a group of people
This probably
that
is.
are born with that is
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
defined what they gonna struggle with. You know,
I agree with
like
that.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Like we all got something that we just was like, when we popped out the womb, we was gonna do that. We was a liar. We was,
I'm gonna
you
do
know,
it. True. It could be some people who
Now,
say that.
my thought on that, like I've thought about that perspective quite a bit. The only thing that kind of caught me off guard was the guy that said, that we just had the episode, and he said nothing happened to me. I was just, it's just how I was born. That's the only time I was like, I've never heard that before from somebody. It's not like I talked to so many gay people, but it was just still like, I mean, I kind of looked this stuff up sometimes for certain topics and stuff. So, but I don't necessarily think that someone can be born homosexual. I think every child is born in sin for sure. But you got to think about it. Does a baby come out wanting to, like, natural affection should be something that God planted you, like formed you with. So for a child to come out having an affection against his own nature doesn't seem possible, because now we're dealing with like now it is a nature for us to sin, but a nature for us to be that's not in our nature to be. And a baby doesn't come out having thoughts of sex at all. So that I don't understand how someone could be born like that as like an identity.
I think most of, well, I won't say most people, but like you're born just not knowing what you are. And so it's not until like you go into society that you start understanding like the cultural. Yeah, so her point is generational, but
Good generational curse.
but
You got
like you're
transgender visibility awareness highlighter colors in your Bible. You should
Yeah, I
show the
got my
people.
Bible. I got my Bible tatted up. y'all.
Transgender visibility, y'all.
Tatted up, y'all.
That's so crazy. It's
I
so
was just
funny because
thinking
it's boy and girl gendered. The flag, the colors. So it's like, do y'all believe in that? Or like, this? It's interesting that they chose those colors when it's like kind of contradicting y'all
'cause,
whole
like,
belief system. But
Because it's like when it's the whole transitioning thing, you only have two options.
I
to
was going to say,
transition
I
to.
think they did it because it's only 2 options.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Which further proves the point that you do believe there's
You do
only
believe there's two
genders.
options.
Yeah,
But what were you
But I
saying?
think they. Oh, so my point was that
Yeah.
when you're a kid, like, or when you're first born, you don't know anything. You just like in that space, right? And so you don't know that you're a girl or a boy. And so it's like as soon as you come to consciousness, you start to look around and understand what's around you. You understand your mom and your dad, but you don't know what you are in relation to what they are. Because I remember one time, I don't know if I ever told this before, but like when I was little, like I had a little brother and my mom would carry him around. And so I had this little doll. I don't know if it was like, I don't know what it was, but I was like, I'm a mommy now type thing.
Confusion. No, I'm just playing.
But it's just like what you see. And so like in my situation, my dad was like, you no more dolls for you. You're not a mommy. You if you were anything, you'd be a dad. Right. And so he clarified it on the spot. So my thought process would be like, if I had that thought and then like my parents were like, we're gonna let him figure it out, I would have been confused all the way up until I got older because no one ever was like, you are this. Because I just did, like, I was so young, I didn't know like the reproductive piece of it.
But if I could add a rebuttal, and I'll let you get to your verse. If I could add a rebuttal, I think that if you actually possibly could have had that in you, which I'm not saying you did, but if you did have that in you, I don't think your dad correcting you would have changed it. Because if it's, I do think
So
that it comes from some type of confusion. You know, I think it comes from a confusion that is put on
They saying some good stuff.
the person. Which one?
They say a child has no
You
knowledge
can
of
read
certain.
the name and then just because they probably want to.
Tashawn Tucker. Hey, Ro. He says a child has no knowledge of certain things. Honestly, to be taught or molded is the child's only responsibility for the fortunate ones. I need some stronger medicine. Clearly.
And then Dolly Bone said these parents nowadays groom their kids, let alone the school too. Alexis said, yes, I've seen some grow up having two fathers and they assume they have to be gay as well. Really?
I think
But no, I'm just saying, like, I've never seen, like, someone that had two fathers.
I know somebody that got two fathers.
I don't know anyone like that. And I'm just thinking, cause
It's definitely rare.
like that's my cousin. So like I figure I would have known. Maybe I'm not thinking.
She said she's seen someone grow up having.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know if they.
You thought it was your family?
It might not be your family.
Geraldine got a no playing.
Again, that's why, like, going back to what I mentioned earlier, that gay be boomed, and I hope that's not derogatory. I read it in a book that was
Be ashamed
by
of yourself.
intelligent
Cancel
people,
now.
so
No, it's like-
I apologize in advance. But it's basically there's a larger portion of the population that grew up in families like that, and like for me, if that had been my thought process, and then I was in a household where there was a dad that was a mom, I've been that since birth.
And that's what I think it. I don't know. That just caught me off guard when the dude was like, "Nah, nothing happened." I was like, I mean, I can take your word for it, but that is, it's just hard to believe that that's the case. But I'm not here to like tell people what their experience was.
Yeah, me either.
I can't do that. But it's just everything that I have heard from so many people. I was like, maybe I just need to have more conversations with people because that's something I really want to understand. Because on a biblical aspect, I have to know my material so I can minister correctly. Obviously, I don't feel like I have to get all analytical and observe and get a psychological understanding of the homosexuality. But what did Alexa say? Yes, and they have the example in movies and commercials a lot. Yeah,
You know what? That's true. I'm over here watching. Right now, I just started watching Station 19.
It's a good show.
It's a great show, but it's a lot of.
It's a lot of There's a lot of that in these shows. Now I'm like, bro, can you just sprinkle it, dog, please?
Yeah.
Like I just need.
But I like the show, so I'm gonna keep watching it.
I know
You
Christian's
what I'm
like,
saying?
it level
coincides
to
with
hold
Grey's
up.
Anatomy. It coincides with Grey's Anatomy, so I mean, I'm just gonna keep watching it. I just got to.
No, we gotta rebuke you for what do we have to rebuke you for?
The gluttony.
The gluttony. We gotta rebuke you for watching that show. No, I'm playing.
Oh, Lord, then you're gonna have to come for me because I've been watching Modern Family.
Modern Family.
I mean, what we gonna do? Just stop watching TV? We just gonna be
I was
Amish
watching
and
that
just
at one
stop
point.
watching
You
TV.
do?
We just gonna have to stop watching TV.
It's homosexuality all in our entertainment now, and now it's homosexuality in the church. But I'm gonna let you get to yo.
This is why
Commercial break,
some
y'all.
Christians are like,
Commercial break.
trying to make Christian content, eventually. Right,
Yes,
Ashley?
sir.
We finna do that one day?
Yes, sir, man.
Yeah, we finna do that.
We're
For
gonna
real.
have his skits, LGBT flags on set. I'm just playing.
Oh, boy. The chosen guy called out. Well, I kind of forgot what the other points you guys were touching about.
Somebody being born in sin.
Well, no,
Can you be
I
born
know
gay?
that. It was
I
like
think that was-
after that. I wanted to answer your question because you're like, how does someone like not go through something and still do it? So Romans actually answers this. And I will preface this because I don't know what you guys, but I don't know what you either, but this
straight.
is an NIV
Oh,
translation.
okay.
I don't think y'all ain't too big on like, oh, you gotta use King James.
No,
No,
you,
no.
Oh,
no.
okay.
KJ, no,
I got scarred.
No, if it ain't KJV,
No, I
if
got
it ain't
it.
Put that
KJV, I
Bible
want
up.
it. Nah,
KJV, look.
Let's get him a better Bible. He needs help.
I
No,
got
that's fine.
scarred from.
Go ahead, though.
Go ahead.
Scarred from
Nah,
Mike.
for real.
So yeah, this is Romans 1:21.
What version is it though? Just so we can
NIV.
NIV. Okay, I forgot.
So it says, "For although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him. But their thinking became futile, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools." And then if I skip down, and it says, Because of this, God gave them over to shameful lusts. Even their women exchanged natural sexual relations for unnatural ones. In the same way, the men also abandoned natural relations with women and were inflamed with lust for one another. Men committed shameful acts with other men and received in themselves the due penalty for their errors. So, like, it says here, yeah, so God gave them over to a deprived mind because though, they didn't think worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God. So like, we think of sin as these big, like, oh, like the big ones, like the murder and the idolatry and the adultery, but we forget to realize even the smallest sins like also deprave us. And then
Like watching
because
Modern Family and
oh boy, but like these things deprave us because like I didn't have a terrible childhood, but I still fell into porn for like 12 years. You know,
Yeah, you know the terminology.
yeah, corn. It's funny because I have a channel. Anyways,
Grape and corn.
yeah.
Talking about the fruits of the spirit. On the
Oh boy,
No, let me not say that.
right.
Sorry,
But,
y'all, I gotta turn this
yeah,
out of my
like-
brain off for a second.
The reason why I fell into corn was because I stumbled across like an ad and I just got curious. You know,
You just had me had a whole flashback of your interview. It's like, golly, boy, you did. I done edited that video. I know his whole story word by word. I can repeat it for you.
oh boy. You know what's funny? I have yet to see that video.
God.
And I was talking to Jesse about it, and he was just like, "Bro, how you not see your own video?"
You Johnny Depp right now, bro.
But yeah. So basically, sins is what leads people to have a deprived mind. When I was in the world, I didn't see anything wrong with sex before marriage. I'm like, you're gonna send me to hell because I'm having sex? Like that doesn't make any
It's in
sense.
my nature, man.
Right. So like, but we don't realize this. We're actually being depraved. And that he gives that over because it's almost like that's what you're choosing. God is going to let you choose what you want and you're going to suffer the consequences. Because if you don't choose him, you're choosing death, regardless of whether it feels good at the moment. So,
But what that also brought to my attention is that I don't think that God will turn you over. What does it just say? Hey, keep my name out your mouth. Did we say Jesse's name?
my bad, bro.
Oh yeah, you said that. Yeah. Keep his name out your mouth now. But so what I just saw from that verse, I don't know if y'all caught it, but in my mind I'm thinking like, okay, so that definitely has to mean that this is something that God, like a confusion that God will allow you to partake in if you do not have a love for the truth. So it could not be that God would turn you over to that when you were born. I feel like that would be so unjust of God to allow that to happen when you're born. Like I don't know. Maybe I need to think more about it, but that's why we're here.
Well,
to,
you got to
talk
realize people
about it.
don't really have a full understanding of who they are until they reach adulthood anyways.
But
Or
is
at a
that
certain
who they
age.
are though? Because you're talking
Well,
about
they
engaging.
will say that. Like I can say like, oh, I was born to be a dancer, but it's just I just so happened to dance for so long that I took that identity. But not
Yeah,
to say that I
just
was
don't
born
think
out. I
that-
didn't come out of the womb like.
Like I don't think there's a cussing spirit. I don't think there's a like necessarily an adultery spirit. I think it's just you are sinning. Like you're choosing like your nature, you have a nature and you have to use that the right way. God made you this way for a reason, but children, we naturally have pride. We naturally have I want this, I want that. But to naturally from birth have this thing inside of you, this spirit of homosexuality, like how could God allow that to get on you? Like, and maybe it's a generational curse, like she said.
It could be just
But
generational.
we'll have to study generational curses. But without that, I don't think it. I mean, maybe that's the only way, because that I know you can get certain things because of certain parents and certain things but for something to skip, like if my, I'm just gonna say, if somebody's family members were dealing with homosexuality and then their kids were straight and they cut off the curse, they ended it, is it gonna skip and say, oh well, your granddad was dealing with this, so that's why you're probably dealing with it? It's like I don't understand how it could skip generations like that. Unless but then it's like, did it skip a generation, or is it is a generational curse more natural than we want to explain it to be? Is it a natural, like, all right, the reason it's a curse is because you're naturally now unintentionally grooming your child to be gay? It's a lot to think about, yo. I try to go in.
That's a puzzler, boy.
Yeah.
That might need to be for a whole
Yeah,
episode.
I was
You know
gonna
what I'm
say,
saying?
'cause to your point, it's like maybe you weren't born that way, but like I guess both of you guys were making it. It was like it's all you've known, and so the way you articulate it is that you were born that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe you grew up that way.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the more accurate way
more
to say it.
And then you weren't exposed to Christian Bible-based teaching, or you were, and you made the decision
To rebel.
that wasn't going to be your you weren't going to accept it in your heart, and therefore move towards God, and then allow Him to
Do the work.
Yeah.
Because if I had two dads, I mean, it's a higher chance that I'm gonna be gay. Like,
Yeah.
right? Am I
Yeah.
tripping? Like,
No.
like I don't think people try to make it sound so genetic that it's like, oh, this gene, and it's like if we agree with the mentality that people can actually be born with homosexual tendencies with no influence at all, I feel like we are allowing people to say that there could possibly be a gay gene, because a lot of spiritual things in the Bible have natural explanations. Now, when we get with supernatural, you know, obviously like how God brought us all here, like, yeah, supernatural, but there are a lot of things that in the Bible spiritually that have a natural like flow and explanation to them. And atheists will use this as a way to discount God. But it's like, no. Nature itself teaches you certain things. Nature shows you, like, a man's nature is this. Like, that doesn't just mean this is supposed to be this way. This is your nature. So when someone tells me I was born, this is who I am, it's like, wait a minute. God made you the opposite of your biological makeup? That's what you're telling me? That's very hard to believe.
Your biological and your genetic makeup, because your genes affect the sex you have.
Yeah.
So
Now, him
genetically-
allowing it is different, but like
I was
him
gonna say,
making
so
you this way.
genetically, you were born with X and Y, or X and X.
Well, that's
Thank you.
interesting because
So
yeah. Or which one is which?
XY is boy,
Let's go.
XX is girl.
All right, I gotta visualize in my head in a certain way because I don't want to sound dumb when I be talking on this. Oh, this is live. I just
Yeah.
I
I just know.
my exes were women.
Yeah.
Okay. That's how you want to do it.
That's how you gonna do it.
Or you
Actually, with,
You're gonna be dirty like that, then go ahead. Why am I a man? There we go.
well, you can
Because I'm
also think of it
curious.
from
I'm just like I'm
perspective-
messing with y'all.
Or I was gonna say
It's
the way I
weird,
think
though.
of it is that the man decides the gender of a baby, and to do that we have both X and Y, and so we either give an X or we give a Y.
Why?
That's what I think about it.
Interesting. I'm not giving none of myself away. No child.
Yeah,
not
you
this
will.
way.
Yes, you will.
So let's see, because we don't have that much time. Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate, right? So shouldn't we
He wanted to do
just
that.
accept how people identify to prevent them from unaliving themselves or self-deletion?
Ooh.
Shouldn't we just accept how people identify to prevent them? Like if someone says, "Hey, I'm," like if I said, "Hey, yo, my name is Ashley," but the girl version of Ashley, because I identify as a woman. You should accept my pronouns because I don't want you to. Because if you don't, I might, self-delete.
Okay.
And that affects a lot of different areas, but we ain't got to go on all that. But
Okay.
Ooh,
I'm just gonna be okay.
you gonna say okay?
Yeah. I deal with that. I work in customer service, and I'm a server, so I can deal with a lot of. I deal with a lot of stuff. So I just be like, okay, that's what you want me to call
yeah,
you?
in my job, hey,
so it's like a respect.
you are
thing.
Yeah,
whoever you
yeah.
say you are.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with you.
Yeah.
But does it profit me to argue with you about who you are?
I know.
So
Just don't identify as my man, because then we're going to have, like, hey, bro, I'll come over this counter real quick and hurt you. I just play. I'm just joking, guys. Come on. Let's be real. No one's ever going to say that. So, sure. You thinking, boy, you trying to get God to tell you some stuff when you speak. I see it.
No, I'm just gonna say okay.
Just keep it pushing.
Yeah.
So say it one more time because I want to make sure.
So shouldn't we accept how people identify? Because we don't want people to unalive themselves. Okay. So we need to just be okay and accept these terms and just go with it.
Okay.
If I identify as she, you need to call me she, and you need to tell your kids, hey, that's a she. Like, you need to, you know.
I think when you're in the world, yes. So, like, her example is
when I'm at work. Yeah.
I'm out in public. I'm at the grocery store, and there's a guy, he's bagging my groceries or whatever. Yeah, accept that.
He putting a little extra sauce when he bagging them.
Yeah.
Stop. Yeah. I'm being dumb, man. I'm sorry.
But when it comes to, like...
It's getting late.
I'm sorry. But when it comes back to, like, when you've drawn them to, like, your church house, it's like, I do understand where you are. God accepts you where you are. But as Christian, we're calling all of us to be greater than what we are today. So if I'm struggling with corn, for instance, okay, I understand where you are. But as Christians, I'm calling you to a greater standard, you know. And it's not necessarily me. I'm calling you to God, and he calls you to a higher standard. So I guess that's my answer.
What you say, Johnny? Here's Johnny.
Well, these people that end up unaliving themselves, sometimes they're in the community that is accepting them, and they're still doing it. So it just furthers proof that it's not the person or their feelings, but there's a supernatural like authority and powers over them. So for me,
that's good.
I do agree with the stance of like, if we're in the world, they don't know better. So why am I gonna about it? Like do I have the time to explain myself? No. So I'm gonna be respectful.
Right.
Whatever you want to be called. Ideally, I'd rather learn your name, and I'll call you by your name.
Yeah.
You know, instead of trying to do the whole pronoun thing. I basically agree. Like, if you're in the church, and that's something that we would like talk it out, like read the scripture, pray over. It's just deeper than the pronouns if you're gonna unalive yourself because of it. It's so much deeper. So my goal would be to understand what that is. Like it maybe it's you say it's pronoun, but it's actually rejection. So it's not just the pronoun. It could be rejection of any kind. So I want to like try to touch base with that and acknowledge your feelings and give you truth the best way I can. And if he can't receive that, then it's just up to the Lord. Like, I have to pray for them, have the Holy Spirit speak through me, whatever the case may be, and just have faith that God is true to his word, that he says he is patient and wants everyone to come to repentance. So I'd hope for that, for that person.
Yeah. This is kind of, a little bit of a tough one for me. For sure, I do want to, like you said, I would rather just use your name. I haven't had too many situations where I had to say, call it a he or she and a she or he. I haven't had too many situations like that. But like when I'm referring to a certain person, it's like, I'm just going to learn your name. I'm not going to go through my whole list of people. And that's why it's hard for like us and people of LGBT community to be like, homies or whatever. It's like, you're just not going to agree like with me. But I do feel like a big problem with saying things that are so illogical. Like, I know you're a man. I'm not going out my way to say he to get on your nerves. Like, I'm not doing that. I don't care about I'm just like, look, I just want to show everybody love. I want to show everybody respect. I'd rather put respect on your name than your pronouns.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's well said.
So let's go ahead and give our final thoughts.
I gotta say,
Yeah.
yeah, Alexa. No, I'm sorry. It was Dolly Bone. Where she said, "That's why you need to be bloodline breakers." It ran in my family until it ran into me. That's a hard. That was hard. I just gotta
put that on a shirt.
I was
Put
real
that on.
hard.
Just
Yeah,
copy
a
that.
shirt.
Copy that. Put that in your Instagram
Yeah,
story.
that was real hard.
Or something. Like, for real.
There you go. But yeah, that was it for me.
Okay. All right. What's up with your final words?
You go first. Ladies first. Go ahead.
No, I want to go second. Go first.
Oh, okay. Well, my final thought is that it's good that we're having these conversations, especially as Christians, because it seems like, at least in the culture, like it's almost like there's an opposition to the LGBTQ as a people. And so, like, I think in having these conversations, we've got to understand that, the people are who we're trying to draw. And what we're fighting against is, again, the powers at play behind it. So it's a lot more than just, fighting against the gays or fighting against, all of that stuff. It's about drawing people to God and loving them through it, and then just having the faith that God will do. He'll provide the increase, essentially. So that's my final thought.
That was a good thought. I think this was a great topic and conversation. I like how nobody got mad or whatever.
It's because
we all
Mike wasn't here.
Oh.
Hydroplay.
But I just like how it and I think y'all shining light as Christians on the situation and will draw some people. And hopefully it helps somebody to either understand better from Christian side or the LGBT side, because I feel like we covered pretty much everything. So yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to see myself before I start speaking.
Yep.
I'm gonna go over a few
was drawn
points
in.
because we covered everything, man. We covered the homosexuality. Like it's definitely a sin. If you tell us it's not, we can respect you, but we still might have to check you on the view. You know what I'm saying? We Christians, we gotta be like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I ain't gotta say nothing, but you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the point. The next thing we covered Trans Day.
Yeah.
It's been going on since 2009. Obviously, the world will be the world. It will wax worse and worse. We know this. I don't blame Joe Biden, but I'm not necessarily voting for him either. We as Christians should still fight against this like a Christian. Point 3, I think we covered it a little bit. What's a man? What's a woman? People like to point out the exceptions, like, this one man, this one woman don't have the ability to give birth, whatever. The exceptions do not make up the rule.
Yeah.
The rule is the chromosomes, the male organs, the female organs. The 4th point, like, if you want truth, don't go with the view. Point 5. If you want to prepare for apologetics and ministry on these topics, first of all, pray, read your Bible, and you need to be a Christian, right? Don't just talk like one, but walk like one. And I personally love to watch Frank Turek, Mike Winger. He has some really good stuff on this topic. David Bernard, William Lane Craig, Dr. James White, Vadi Bacham. I don't know how to say his last name, but he does some really good work on this topic. And the last point, personally, I still vote, but I will never put America over God. John 3:16, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So we're not supposed to justify sin, because essentially when you justify sin, you're putting Jesus back on the cross, which is the very reason he died for our sins, not so we can keep sinning. His grace, people say, God gave us grace, so, we can do what we want. No. God's grace kept you out of hell the first time. It's not necessarily going to keep everybody out of hell right now. Like, he died so we would not be in hell. Now, I would be a whole lot more worried about you never experiencing the goodness of God than I would necessarily you going to hell. Because now, which both will happen, but instead of me focusing on, yo, you're going to go to hell, like, I'm so concerned that you will not experience the goodness of God, the relationship of God. Like that's what keeps me up at night. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, and I'm just using it as a term, I don't necessarily think about like, oh, they not going that, but
Nah,
I'm
'cause
just
going to
saying,
sleep.
you know, like, I'll stay asleep like a baby. What you mean? But I'm just using it as a way to explain it. But I don't care as much about the day that trans visibility day fell on. I'm not surprised or offended. As a Christian, I say the day should not exist at all. But
They got a lot of
we're Christians, so obviously we think like that. But yeah, the day is just, it's a day. The world has so many other days that
I'm a little upset they got so many days though.
they got just so many days.
But the only reason I'm upset is because it's like, dude, it's so much other stuff to be,
Well, I always notice that like there's always just some random holiday every day. Like
It
some people
is.
be like, oh, it's like
Auntie
they
Day.
got
Tomorrow,
Green
Auntie Day.
Day.
I just found- I don't even know
Chihuahua
what it is.
Appreciation Day.
I want to
Like,
see the blood.
but yeah,
I
it's
just don't
it's a
know.
lot. I will say, and
They
this
don't
is
have
too-
Uncle and Aunt Day. What's wrong with them, bro? What are they?
I'm like,
I ain't getting nothing.
we are pivotal people.
Yeah.
And the
Just
raising
have
of
a
y'all
kid.
children.
Look, you just have a kid. You can have a day.
No.
Well, but
That's
then
24/7.
some people can't
I
have
get a day
kids.
this year.
You do get a day this
Don't
year.
it feel? I ain't
It's
gonna
your
say
first year. You and Crystal get a day.
that. Yeah.
Don't expect much.
And you get more back on your
Your baby,
taxes.
your baby still little. She
We
can't
need
get y'all
that
much.
tax cut back, y'all. I'm
Ava
sorry.
can't get y'all that much right now.
I agree with Charlamagne
But
the
she'll
God.
shower
man.
y'all with all her love.
But
We need to just celebrate more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need to
Let's just celebrate.
We need to get all
Let's
the
make
days
some
that they
days.
don't have.
While y'all doing y'all skits and stuff, we gonna make some days too.
yeah,
We gonna make some Christian days.
bet.
All right,
I'm
that's
down. I'm
all
down
good.
for that. I'm down for
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
All the days that's not taken up, we're gonna
He
use
celebrated April
No,
Fool's Day
we gonna pick a
5 days late. Man told me
You
he
just
wasn't
gonna
gonna
take a
make
day?
it.
We gonna take.
All
Nah,
right.
I'm just playing. We ain't gonna take one of these.
No, we ain't gonna take one of
We ain't gonna
days.
do that. But,
Well, look, man. Y'all like the video on y'all's way out. Get the
You want to hit it? Okay.
hit the thinger. You know how the Dare say that thing be thinking.
Of course.
That like be like.
Chris said that's enough for her.
And also subscribe if you feeling it. Because we're gonna keep this conversation going. We're not just here to talk about that one topic. We talk about everything. We talk
Yeah,
about
next week gonna be fornication and adultery.
oh Lord have mercy. We all are going to hit no. We are delivered. I'm not gay no more. No, I ain't never been gay. The name
I'm delivered.
might fool some people. I was this last thing. I was at work and somebody said, actually, they saw you in the truck with your friend, and I was like, they said some other stuff. I was like, that's so crazy. They saw me doing that, and I didn't see none of that going on when I was in the truck with my homeboy. I was giving him a ride to work because he worked with me.
Yeah.
And they saw a whole nother situation. That's so crazy. I could be in the truck with another man, and they say, yo, this is going on. I'm like, how did y'all see that? And then somebody said, oh, yeah, I knew Ashley was like that. I knew that. I was like,
Dang, bro.
I
They
said,
find out
what?
something about you ain't even know.
They found out something about me. Now, there's no way I could be over here this comfortable talking about this while something else is going. Why would I, bruh?
People love to tell you about yourself.
Yeah. Oh, that's one thing. Before we close, man, I wanted to know. Like, somebody said, "Hey, Terrell, he gay," or Johnny, or y'all shit like they gay. Like, what thought will come to y'all's head? What would y'all do?
I'd be like, you know what? I was. You probably did see me out there,
Testimony.
but I'm not anymore.
Hallelujah. Oh, don't play.
Molly
Praise
said,
God.
if they said it, I did it.
Yeah.
But
Who said that?
Molly?
Mally Music?
Yeah, but he wasn't saying it in regard to gay folks.
Oh.
He just was like,
Yeah.
but
Oh, okay.
yeah, but I heard Shannon Sharp say so. Oh, I hope. Well, Shannon Sharp was like, a lie. My grandma told me not to chase a lie. So I just be
Scratch
like,
the lie, find a thief. I just seen it
yeah,
on Ray
like,
Charles.
so
I don't know what
if
it
somebody
means.
said this
that's my
about me,
movie.
I just be like,
I'm going to watch it.
I
Yeah.
just be like, I mean, I wouldn't care.
Hey Johnny, how many people you gonna slap if they say you gay, bro?
Well, one, being a guy that dances does not identify my sexuality. That's what happened a lot in high school. That's like what I said earlier.
They do be saying
Yeah,
that.
because
Men
I
that
was
dance
dancing.
They do
are
say
sweet.
that.
They say, I did a few dance moves and they just said that. Like, nah, bro.
I did
Straight
hear that
people
once
don't
or
dance.
twice.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
They don't listen to Drake. That's the softest music you can listen to if you straight.
Right. The whole
Yeah.
Hold up.
Next level.
like in middle school, like if you listen to Justin Bieber, you're not straight.
Bruh.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not
it was
gonna
wild.
lie.
I ain't gonna
I
hold
was
you.
on the bus with my headphone in, had the volume turned down.
Hot like a
Girl,
dragon.
I love, girl, I love you.
Baby.
And they was
Right,
like,
dude,
Ashley,
what's
we
up?
knew.
Ashley, that's why they knew Ashley. That's why they
One
knew.
of the people walked by. Let me turn it down to 20. I just don't
Let
want
me
nobody to
turn
know what
down
I'm
to
listening to. Because everything was a problem.
Everything.
Boy.
Yeah, but for me, you can believe whatever you want about me. God knows me.
What?
So
That's a word.
I very much don't care. But if you come up to me like, hey, like this is what I heard, I'm gonna be like, definitely not me.
They must have been
Can I
come
add
out
one
the
more question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it was a question that they asked you, and they was like, what would you do if you like got approached?
Approached by a man.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
I'm the comedic part of my brain. Like I gotta
Right.
shut it down. Golly. So
Nah,
stupid.
I'd shut it down. I'd be like, bro, look, women,
That's your
Women.
jam.
women is women, God made
Women.
and women.
Like the chicken noodle soup. Good.
Like, yeah, I'll just be like, bro, like I don't swing
I
that
do?
way.
I'm married.
Oh,
That's
no,
easy
no,
for me.
no.
It's easy for me. I'm
No. You asked the
hard
question.
way.
Don't use
It's
that.
easy for me. That's the easy one for me.
Well, what before? I can't even say if you're not because I don't want to. But I'm just saying, like you gotta come on, man.
I mean,
What advice would you give to the single men if somebody approached them?
I'm married.
Tell them I'm married. Married to Jesus.
if that's what you gotta say, I would just, I would probably I would ask a lady that because women get approached more than men do. So I would probably say
I think so, but I don't know.
I'd probably say, how do you respectfully just say
them
no?
studs, boy.
No,
They
thank
be
you.
coming.
Oh, I'm gonna be honest. In today's society, I just give out my number. Once you call me, I block you and I walk away. Because
So you
I've
just
seen people,
to the dude that you don't
but
wanna
I'm just
talk to.
saying today you really can't reject people, unfortunately, without making it out alive, or getting beat up.
I feel you.
So I'm just gonna be like, oh, well, my number is such, and when you call it, it's gonna ring.
They
When
be
I get in my
thinking they got
car
it.
and when I pull off, you block.
But I hope y'all never see him again.
And I pray to
But you
God
gotta
we never
play the-
cross.
play the guy.
I might not
Oh.
even go back to the gas station or wherever I met you at. I'm done with that spot.
Yeah. If somebody approached me, man, I'm not gonna say any jokes right now, cause I could be real funny. It's like, nah, this ain't the time. But nah, if somebody approached me,
Krista said say we have a man that don't even have one. You can say that.
So
then.
you can't say that because they approach
No,
you.
'cause
You
then-
can't say you got a man.
But no, because honestly,
I'm
you
saying
could say.
Ashley can't say he got a man.
Well, no, but
no, I
she's saying
can't
we'll
say I got
say-
a man.
But
It
even
ain't
in
good
saying,
advice, baby.
The man Jesus.
but even in saying that, they'll be like, "Oh, you can't have a friend." Like that goes to
No,
that.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like they don't care. They don't.
Yeah, if somebody.
Krista, you
I
off
mean,
the
I've
market,
had
so-
I've had a few situations
And you got one. Hold up.
like I explained on the show.
Example.
But most of the times, I don't think like you said, gay people ain't really like approaching like that. They're usually trying to sneak their way in, and I'm
Yeah, they
like,
gotta read you first.
sneak your way back out.
They
But
gonna
I'm
try to
real.
read you first.
They know they can see it from a mile away, bro. When you can just say like, yeah, man, I was in church the other day, bro. God is so good. He probably you start talking like that. It's kind of like
You think so?
They might say, "Let me still see," but they're gonna be a lot more cautious. I just don't see them like really like I was a lead and I had a trans worker that was, how do you say it? Positionally in the workplace. I'm not gonna say it. People just gonna be, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, it was my associate. So they said, "Oh, what color your eyes?" And I was like, "So I need you to do this. I need you to do that. I need you to." I just ignored it, right? And then let's say, and do they see? Crystal Tucker said, "And do they see this veil in your shoulder in my profile pic?"
But Terrell said you do have a man.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No.
He said it to his wife.
It's unrelated. Continue.
Okay. I'm like,
because the comment
before she said, "We'll say we have a man and don't even have one." And Terrell said, "You do have one.
You do have a man. What you talking about?"
Okay. I was like,
it's special bedtime.
But yeah, so but yeah, and they said
pretend it didn't happen.
They said, "Hey Ashley, they said Ashley," and I walked back. I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" They said, I was like, "Didn't you call my name? You need something?" I was like, "I didn't say nothing." I was like, you just, I don't know. That stuff just made me angry, bro. I try to be like, I'm a God-fearing man, but it's so funny when they accuse me of being a certain way, and I'm just like, I don't even try to be disrespectful, but you have no idea that, like, I'm cool with people if they gay. I'm cool with you, but when I start speaking about my beliefs, bro, I'm not finna make gay people mad. I'm finna make all of y'all mad. So you do not know what I believe. You know what I'm saying? So it's just interesting to me. Now I am interested, like, okay, why do you think that, I'm like that sounds like projection to me. Like when somebody's like accusing me of being gay for something that's so, it's like, if you think I'm gay for this, that means that if you've ever done anything like that, you're definitely gay. If I'm gay, if I'm accused of being gay because I'm in a car with my homie, that means that if you was in the car with your homie, you're saying that would make you gay. So that means you got to be gay if you was ever in the car with your homie.
So you think they psychologically come saying like, "Oh, we think he this because he did that because they done did it before."
It's got to be, because like, why would you think that would be a gay thing? Obviously, you got to watch yourself. If you that safe, you can't be in the car with your homie, then you got some stuff you got to work on, bro. That means you are dealing with some spirits. Like maybe there's some extra, oh, you just want to be, even that, bro. Why you trying so hard to be straight? You should just be straight. Like why you have, if I'm a man, I don't have to try hard to be a man.
That's true.
Like it's something, you got something going on, obviously. Nah, bro, the way he looked, the way he asked me good morning, how you doing, he must have been gay. I was like, if I got to be gay, can I say good morning to somebody? Bro, nah. You dealing with something, bro. You can only listen to hardcore rappers. That means you trying hard to hide something.
And probably too, like for you, they may approach you that way because they know what you stand for.
I know I look good, man.
No,
but
that ain't what
I'm just playing.
But I was saying, like, sometimes if you stand for something, people will try to like just put chinks in, like,
yeah,
bro, we can get into that. Look, we done had a good night, man. We're gonna keep there's obviously a lot more ground that needs to be covered in this conversation. We're gonna keep it going. We might have, I don't know, we might have the same panel, I don't know. I got some people that want to get on the show, that want to talk about some stuff, and they say like Christians do not have the right perspective on the homosexual topic. We are wrong. They can't actually be born this way. It's not a sin. And we're going to cover that eventually, man, real soon. So y'all stay locked. I think next week we're planning to do a Does God Exist debate. So look, next Friday, man, y'all stay tuned. Like the video on your way out. It really helps us with the algorithm. And then, what she say?
There's
Natasha,
gay people
Maddie.
that are ministers. So
There's gay
what you
people that are
say?
ministers. So all right, look, we're gonna get into
gotta-
it. We're gonna
we
get
gotta-
into
Oh
it.
We gotta
Lord.
let it go.
We
Oh
can't. We
God.
can't. Well, look. We gonna cover this maybe
Oh,
2 weeks from now. I don't know. We gonna
God.
cover it again.
That ministers. So
now
would you
the
say they are
questions
false
Did you read it
prophets?
out loud?
There's
Okay,
gay people.
Natasha. So we cover the
And
last
then
question,
we
and
can go.
then we
We
gonna
ain't
get
gotta
out
answer
of here.
it, but
This is the hold up.
comments go
Tasha
away.
This is the last one.
There's gay people that are ministers. So would you say they are false prophets? Just give you a short answer. That's all we need.
Oh, I didn't want to answer it. I wanted to read it.
I
So
know,
that the people
but they
know
gonna,
it's coming.
But they gonna be hurting man,
Later
if we
on.
don't read it. They gonna be hurt. They need us to answer the question. We're gonna get out of here after this.
False prophets. What you think, Ashley?
My first intention, I'll say, like this needs more thought from me. But my
Yeah.
first intention is they are false prophets.
Yeah.
That's my first intention. But
Yeah.
my first instincts, I'll say. What you think, bro?
I don't know what I don't think I've read enough to know what the
I
qualifications.
mean, if
of
they're
a minister
prophesying,
is.
obviously. If they're not prophesying, they just
If
a
they
gay
just
minister.
I mean, if they're just a gay minister, like they have
If they King
they
James,
have pastors and stuff.
King
and
James was gay. And he had some scribes do the, he paid for these scribes to translate the Bible. So I mean, was he a false prophet? Like, no, he was probably used by God, but he was gay. Is he gonna be my pastor? No. But it's like I don't call people false prophets unless they false prophesying. I don't think homosexuality necessarily is the precursor to what actually is a false prophet. The Bible tells you if somebody says something and it doesn't come true with the time that they put out, then they're a false prophet. So I kind of just keep it there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree because I'm thinking like if that's like that what they're attracted to, but they're living a life to where like they're obviously abstaining from being with any partners at all, and they're trying to die to their flesh and then leading other people to do the same, then I wouldn't say they're a false prophet. They're just maybe it's just their struggle. But if they're
But if they're
identifying,
okay and they say
right, if they're
they
identifying,
already preaching lies though. If they are justifying homosexuality,
right, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I would say. Oh, that is not what I.
All right,
wanted.
show's over. No, I'm just playing.
There you go.
We're back. Commercial break's over.
If they're preaching a false gospel, then yes, obviously, in the moment you accept the lifestyle of homosexuality.
If y'all want to have a risk like that and prophesy $1 million not make it, I'll be like, you a true prophet to me, brother. No, I'm just playing.
And
Stop.
and not only that, with the gay people that are ministers, they basically just they just basically, man, it's churches up here with like gay pastors and they got married to
First
they
Gentleman.
got the first gentleman and yeah. I mean, the most they talk about, they don't even preach the word. They be like, you haters over here, you haters over there.
Yeah, they
I'm gonna
pandering,
deliver you from
boy.
your haters.
What
Like
is it?
that's
Is it
basically all
false
they.
teaching? Maybe
Is
not
they just-
false prophet.
It's just
but
partial preaching, man.
It's
They
just
are.
like
It
not,
could be false, some of it, but I know
Yeah,
for most
it's just
part,
like
it's
you-
partial.
So I wouldn't say they false prophet unless they prophesying to me,
They preach
and
the
it don't
good,
line.
they
They
don't wanna
prophesying
preach
to
the
me, and it
bad.
don't line up.
I wonder, are there people who do
Like, you ain't
preach
talking
that
to me.
is well? I know there are people probably who preach that is wrong, and then they still do it. So like,
Oh, yeah.
they're gay. They know it's wrong. They preach that it's wrong, but like they can't do the crucifixion.
Let me tell you something. I
Flesh
know a lot
piece.
of people
Oh, like they themselves still dive in. Indulge.
still indulge. They preach that it's wrong, but when they go home,
Well, okay, because I'm it's difficult. So it's like we should definitely come back, but like
yeah,
I believe in purity. Shouldn't be doing anything before marriage. That doesn't mean I haven't stumbled.
right.
So I'm questioning: Are they
Right.
stumbling? Well, what are they doing to set the boundaries to avoid it?
Yeah, it's a
Or
big difference.
Yeah.
are
And a
you
hypocrite is somebody
willingly
that's-
doing it?
Yeah.
You know, and I have to check myself because sometimes I put myself in a position that I can fall, and then I have to question myself. Dang, Lord, like what am I doing? You know, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a very important question. But
Put
for
a
the
pin.
most part, if they're preaching about like, oh yeah, like it's okay to be this, then it's like
I think you
No.
just gotta preach with some understanding. Like, look, if I'm over here smoking and I'm like, bruh, if you smoking, you stupid. And I'm smoking behind closed, then it's like that's kind of fake. But if I'm like, look, I don't want you. I'm trying to get over this. I don't want you to go through it. You gotta have an
Right.
honest message for honest experience. Even if you're not struggling with it, you're struggling with something. So you need to understand your battle because that's going to help you preach to somebody else's struggle. That's what Matthew 7 is talking about when it says take the plank out of your eye before you try to take the splinter out of somebody else's eye. So we try to do gay for gay when it's actually like, look, you know, sin for sin is the same thing as saying an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Like, you're doing sin for sin. You're saying, like, I don't believe necessarily that all sin holds the same weight and value, and that's debatable for some people, but I do say I'm not the one who can say what value sin holds. It's not up to me. It's up to God and what consequence he wants to have on it.
Right.
But I would never say that, like, if I'm struggling with something, I'm struggling with anything, I'm not going to make it seem like the homosexual is worse than me. I cannot do that. Like, I have to say, look, like, I can't, like, I say this all the time. I bring this up when we talk about this topic. Like, we're at a church service and my dad, he don't necessarily, like, you know, he doesn't necessarily pick and choose. Like he does speak about all sin across the board for sure. So he was preaching a certain day, and this wasn't necessarily on him, but he was preaching. He said, you got people that's, you know, living in homosexuality, and, you know, one of the members was like, ew, you know, it's nasty, you know, da da da. And then he said, then you got people in adultery, and he was just like, I'm just like, no. You can't do that.
That's that sin favoritism.
You cannot do that. You have to be across the board. At least if you don't think it's ill, you got to be like, amen. You got to stand up at least, you know. But that's my final piece on it, man. I don't know if anybody else anything to say before we close out. But we got a lot to say.
I'm biting my tongue because if I get going, we're gonna.
Oh, you're gonna keep going.
Right, we're gonna be here.
Yeah,
we're
gonna start. We're gonna start getting the music together, man. Start singing on out.
Yeah, just for me, it's like, as Christians, just check on what are you getting angry for. What for? You know, like the outrage should be, hey, there's a lot of homeless people in Atlanta. Not, oh, their date came across our date.
Oh my gosh! Did they just ask another question?
Oof.
Oh my God.
Who is Natasha Maddox?
My mom.
My wonderful.
God
My
bless you.
my
God
wonderful
bless her.
mother.
That's your mom.
If a person is
I'm
gay,
so glad she here.
can they be ordained by God to minister while they're still living in homosexuality?
No.
No.
That's like a man that's living with that's an adultery. You gotta be the husband of one wife. So that covers all of that.
They weren't ordained by God. They were ordained by whoever the person they ordained.
Yeah.
Some
Or
things
they
you
ordained
do gotta-
themselves, because I mean we personally know somebody who ordained themselves. So it's like, no, Mom, I love you to death. Please let us go.
For me, it's like, would you follow someone who doesn't follow his own advice? It's as simple as that. Like, and what are they preaching? They should be preaching the whole word.
Yeah, sir. I know pastors, you know, they're not, you know, free from sin, but some sins I will not accept from my pastor. I would not accept him having a side piece either. Like, it's gonna start way before we get to homosexuality. It's gonna start at, do you have a side piece
Are you committing
with your
adultery?
marriage?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's like, no.
Well,
Are you having sex outside of marriage? It's like, you can't be my pastor.
Because like the word says, deacons and bishops, like.
But if you tell a lie, it's like, I'm not gonna necessarily say you can't be my pastor.
Right.
I just have my own, like, you lied about something, like.
Oh, what you lying for?
I'm just saying, like it's not okay, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not gonna say you can't be my pastor if there's a certain lie that you tell, like if somebody's asking you, hey, like, where, like, I don't know, like at work, somebody can be like something simple like, hey, where were you the last 15 minutes?
Oh, I was in my corner asleep.
And you can just be, I don't know, like, you can just be like,
I tell my job.
I was in the restroom.
Fire me.
And you might not have been. You could say I was using the restroom, right? And you was like, you might have been in there, but you weren't using it. You was in there on your phone. So if a pastor said that, I'm not gonna necessarily, I gotta leave your church, right? That's a problem. You need to pray about it. But just certain things, I'm not gonna like leave because of that. Because I don't expect a man to be perfect.
Why is lying okay? The Bible says.
Lying is not okay.
Yeah, lying.
But sin is not okay. Like that's why I clarified. Like
Yeah, that's why.
certain sins. Like I'm just like, do you think your pastor is gonna be perfect without sin? I'm just not expecting that. That's all I'm saying.
Well, the Bible calls teachers and leaders to live above reproach. Like
Yeah.
for deacons and bishops, like it's not even just that you're just married to one woman. No, your family needs to be checked. So if your kids are disobedient kids, well, guess what? You get disqualified. You can't have, you can't be a drunkard. You can't like do certain things.
So
like,
can you not make a mistake though?
you can make
Like
a
a
mistake.
sinful
Yeah,
mistake.
yeah. You can make a mistake, but you're called to be a teacher to represent the best you can. Now, I think you should be open about it. I think you can get to a point where you make minimal mistakes if you give yourself the boundaries. That's the whole point of gouging your eye out and cutting off the hand. You're cutting everything that can lead to sin as possible, and I think a teacher should do that.
Because I heard certain preachers say, hey, y'all, I was preaching and I fell into a little bit of pride in this situation. And, he's honest with his congregation. I'm like, that was a sin.
Yeah.
But is it going to be something like, I'm about to leave the church because of that?
Well, I'm not gonna necessarily leave the church, but you're gonna have to sit down until you get yourself together. Like, sit down. Like, don't just keep going. Cause then if you keep going, then it's like you showing us, oh, it's okay to just keep doing whatever you're doing. Cause how I know you fully delivered from pride if you never sat down, or how I know you fully delivered from lying if you never just sat yourself down.
I definitely.
And people don't get sat down in this day anymore. You know what I'm saying? They used to sit people down. They don't sit people down.
That's true.
The church need to go back to sitting people
I
down.
definitely understand. I just feel like it's going to be very hard.
What?
I feel like it's going to be very, I don't know if it's possible to find a real pastor like without any sin period through his whole ministry. Like,
Well, that's just Jesus.
that's what I'm saying. Like, not like necessarily like, I know some people they have more sin, while they're in the world. I'm talking about like after that, after they get delivered, they are pastor. I don't know if I can find a person that's like, you ain't got no sin. I just don't. I like before he's married to his wife, did he kiss her? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't know, like certain things like that, like debatable stuff. Like, I just don't. I don't expect a pastor to be sinless.
So you're referring to
Not
their life.
completely.
You're referring to their life, like the life. So you're saying like if someone was before they became a pastor, they were
No, I'm
fornicating,
talking about
or
while
like
they're
during their pastor.
Well, maybe we
pastorship.
shouldn't go into the marriage thing because that's kind of a different topic. Maybe I shouldn't have used that as an example. But my whole point is like if they are if they are a pastor now and they sin something, they do a sin like the example I brought up. Like I was angry and I let my anger get the best of me in that message. Maybe somebody said they wanted to sin, but the pastor feels convicted about it, so it had to be a sin. So am I going to say, you sinned, you can't be my pastor anymore? Or can I recognize a pastor that is growing and he may make a mistake and like at a certain limit, is that okay?
Yeah.
I just don't expect any man to be I feel like if you expect your pastor to be sinless, then you kind of expecting Jesus to be your pastor. I just don't think that's possible, but I could be wrong. That's just how I feel.
I think I understand what you're saying. It's basically as a people we can't put our entire faith in the hands of a
human.
Yeah, I don't put my pastor on no pedestal in that way. Where if he sins, then it's like it depends.
So we're basically holding them to the standard of inspiring the people to be better. Yeah. And if they have shortcomings that they're open about and they,
and if you don't seek correction as a pastor, and I can't have you as my pastor.
Right,
because at some point, to her point, you may have to sit down. I mean, everything isn't that.
There's levels to pride. It's not just I'm prideful and I want to be seen all the time. Like that's extremely high. There's a level of pride that's insecure and you just kind of like shy. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to see yourself. You don't want yourself to be seen in a negative light, or you don't want yourself to be. You may have certain pride that makes you insecure, because a lot of insecurities are prideful. A lot of insecurities are very loud because you're hiding something. And that's prideful. But look, y'all, we had a good conversation tonight. Also, if you
Yes.
like the video,
Yes.
you know, it helps us with the algorithm. It helps the conversation get
Amen.
out here. And also subscribe if you're feeling it. So the like is working now. Cool. And then you can subscribe if you're feeling it. Look, we had a great conversation. We had a lot after hours conversation for about 30 minutes. So that was good. But look, man, y'all have a blessed night. God bless you. We out.